Yes, people, big up to all of you. I do hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you all finding the time to join today's edition of the Blue Morning Show. It is a transfer news. It is also injury updates. Also, we go back into the lineup building exercise where we try and build what we believe will be the club's strongest 11 based on you say following a particular structure. Today's going to be 3-4-3 or maybe a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2. It all depends. But more importantly, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. I do hope you're all doing well. Before we continue, I'm going to go ahead, play the intro, and then come back, take whatever we have in the chat, say hello to the people there, and then we'll start addressing the items we have lined up. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, blue morning to all of you. I do hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I cannot thank you enough for the growth we've seen in the community. A few days ago, we hit 17,000 subscribers, and we have a few clicks on that right now, 17,028 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Let's see, but please keep dropping the likes on the stream. You already have 13 likes. You can do better than that. Rain, I appreciate you joining. I'm quite sure that is that comment there not from today, probably 2 days ago when we was it 2 days ago or when we had to postpone the show. Hi to you too. I hope you're doing well. Chelsea Mitchell Boy, I appreciate you joining. And let's see Ren saying hello, and Mitchell Boy also. And please be sure to go check out Mitchell Boy's YouTube channel, who's joined the 1,000 subscribers gang. Let's help him add some cushion to that so he doesn't drop back to 900 plus. Let's see the Maya forward. Let's say I miss Reece James. We'll all miss him. Hopefully, he finds a way to stay fit and not just play 2 games and then, go back to the treatment table again. That's Chelsea. Indeed. Hi to you too, Oscar. The best O2. Appreciate you joining, Oscar. I can give her from Chelsea. Let's hear you. Hello, Constantine Dante. Big up to you, brother. Always nice to see you. I cannot thank you enough. Much love to you for finding the time to join us today. Coachila, as he always says, Coach, all good. You missed a few shows. Not a few. One. It's not been 2. One. This is the international break where there aren't too many stuff to talk. So any slightest opportunity I can get to do maintenance, I'll take it. It will go a long way. Because you heard me the other day saying, you could say a few days because it's been today, no, tomorrow, and then the next day. I burned out. So trying to, you can say, you take a break as much as I can and be fully ready by the time the league starts again. But thank you so much for paying attention to that. I always appreciate it when people, sense that and always reach out to ask how I am doing. So I sincerely do appreciate that. Let's keep going. Who else do we have in the house? Namaya Fawale, I appreciate you joining. He was a very good lesson. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Namaya. So people, we have 14 likes already, and we're just how many minutes? 11 minutes into the show. Please keep dropping the likes into the show so that again we can get it to 100 by the time the show ends. The transfer window is shut, so usually getting the likes up, it's usually very, very difficult. But we can make it happen, people. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Don't burn out. That's very important. I'm a human being, but that's why I've been looking to get all the help I can. We're looking for a dedicated graphics designer and even hosts actually. But it hasn't really worked out. It's a gradual process, and hopefully we get that done soon. But that's why we keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. We'll do the lineup building exercise. We'll talk about Romeo Lavia, Connie Chikweme, Jonathan, David. Then any other topic that you can say. Usually, as the show progresses, people in the chat do talk about some other Chelsea related, bring up Chelsea related topics, and we do discuss them here. Is there reasons why you do shows so early? Here's the thing. I have during the day, because I work from home, I have to be work at the same time during the day and also pay attention to the behavior of my boys, especially um, none of them they're not of age where you can say a guarantee that they take care of themselves. If you leave them 20 minutes without anybody being at the house, yeah, they would do some damage. So I don't want to risk that until my in-laws come back. Then everything will be fine, and I can stream it actually twice a day and not have an issue. But it can be exhausting after the whole shows, and then you still be the one to go take care of them and all that. Anyways, you do a great job. Much respect. Thank you so much, Constantine Dante. I appreciate you. So we're gonna get into addressing the items we have lined up one by one. So we can get to the lineup building exercise as soon as possible. So the first item here, I know if DJ sees this, he's gonna be elated. This is one player DJ Solve has been calling for the club to sign for you could say 3 consecutive seasons right now. After season, he's been a preaching for the club to sign him, and even under Thomas Tuchel, I thought we were going to sign him because he's you can say the should I say the definite? No, let me say the perfect Pochettino type of striker. Even under he would have been excellent under Graham Potter, and now it was Mauricio Pochettino. This is it. Jonathan Davis is perfect type of striker. The Canadian international is a fine finisher on his day, but I know lots of people are concerned given his injury record. But that's by the way. Let's see. I can hardly take care of one. Clean, no chances. Yeah, 3, especially when the still kids. Yeah, but I appreciate you. My bro. Always nice to see you, Briani Yahayu, aka 343 Dilemma, aka Vivel FC, aka Contender FC, Jackson FC. Yo, big up to you too, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Cannot thank you enough. 18 likes already. Let's keep the likes going up, people, and get it to 100 as soon as possible. Big up, coach. Good to have you back. Thank you so much, Mike and Noom. Nice to see you too. I hope you're doing well. So, Jonathan David, if you know him, is he the sort of striker you would want to see at Chelsea? I'd say yes. Why? Because he's Mauricio Pochettino's perfect type of striker. The question is, are we really looking to sign him? I would say us going for him comes down to how well Amanda Broya does after his recovery. Because I don't see a world where we'd have Jonathan David, Amanda Broya, and Christopher Nkunku, Christopher Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson. I think it will become problematic. I get it, Nkunku can play on the flanks, and you can argue David also can also play on the flanks, but I don't think I don't know how serious we are about this, and I don't know the source being quoted there is that feature just net. I don't know him too what to say. Okay, this is how serious I think us being linked with a move for Jonathan David in general, how serious that is. I honestly do not know. I like David too, but surprised that no other clubs have gone for him. He's been around for a while, yeah, and has been banging in good goals for a while, which was why I said, honestly, in my opinion, I think what's his name? I think DJ Sav will be elated to hear that we're going for Jonathan David. But how truthful do I think that is? I do not know. But I want to take this opportunity to say, speak about Bobby. Haven't seen him in a few days now. I hope things are well with him. I'm not sure what's going on. Usually, even if it's not on the panel here, he's usually very, very active on Twitter. That hasn't happened for a while now. I hope he's doing well. Bobby, if you're watching, just know that we do care about you. And I've reached out and I haven't gotten a response for him. So from him, that's even more concerning to me. I hope he's all right. But that's, by the way, we move on. Yeah, I do like him, but it's been a while. He's not a typical striker, more of a second striker. Yeah, and when I'm saying, when they're using the term typical, Mauricio Pochettino is a typical type of striker or perfect type of striker. I know, yeah, he's not your out and out number 9. He's hybrid. I get what you're saying there. Let's see what else we have here. Snow says, be careful where you buy your new CFC shirts from. Avoid Jersey FC, Jerseys FC soccer shops. Wow, fakes and sizes all wrong. Wow. This is some compliment there. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. 18 likes. Let's get the likes up. So here's an overall. In the case of us looking to sign Jonathan David, I don't know the source being mentioned there. I don't know if we should trust them. And if you look at the strikers we have within our ranks, you can argue everything just comes down to how well Amanda Broya does after his recovery. Because with Broya, Jackson, and Christopher Nkunku, even with Jackson leaving for AFCON around January, February, or I don't know what month it starts exactly. It just doesn't make sense right now, in my opinion. So but I think we'll be moving them from that one as soon as possible. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. 18 likes. I hope you're all good, Bobby. Yep, I hope all is good, Bobby. We all love you. We've been looking for you. JC even reached out, all concerned that we haven't seen you in a while. And JC really very attentive. He paid attention and noticed that you've not been as active as usual on Twitter. Hopefully you're good. And that's, by the way, people. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. You watching alone does go a long way. But we want you to do us one more favor, one tiny beauty favor. Please just take a second, drop a like on the stream. That does go a long way. The likes would trigger the YouTube algorithm and get it to push the stream to more people who'd be interested in being and participate in the items we have lined up or topics we have lined up. Yeah, please, I would really appreciate that. So thank you. Please do that for us. Let's see what else we have here. And Mikey Newman says here, Jonathan David, a similar type to Jackson. We need a big man like Tane. Similar to how tall is he really? But I think Jackson is actually more physical. Even before finding out how tall he is, I think Jackson is more physical of the two, more powerful of the two. Jonathan is just probably looks like, I don't know if I should say he's quicker right now because I'm not too sure. But I think he differs. They differ in so many ways, in my opinion. Only if Jackson can improve aerially, then maybe he has, you can say, two things over Jonathan David. You can say his power and also aerial ability, but he doesn't have the aerial ability in his locker. Jonathan David may be the better finisher of the two if we're going by the record in recent years. So let's see. Tone is not big. Yeah, maybe physical. Jonathan David is another unproven player. I wouldn't call him unproven. Maybe if you're being specific, or if you can be specific by saying, but by the way, Rashi, nice to see you. If you can be more specific by saying he's another unproven player in the Premier League. But yeah, he's proven in league or proven for Canada. He's a fine finisher, I would say, but not too sure what's going on there. Whether we're serious about getting him. He's only 1.79 meters. Can you convert that to Can you convert that to a feet? I'm not into meters really. It's only 1.79 and David is 1.8. So which means yeah, he's taller. Isn't that oh no. Who's taller? Can you convert them to feet? Let me see. Yeah, so you're saying David is, oh, who are you referencing there? Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. 5'9". Okay, to be specific, who's 5'9" and who's the other one? Yeah, but yeah, if you mean a more physical, Tone is more physical. Yep, Tone can be physical, but he's not the tallest, really. He's not the biggest. David had one good season with Lille. After that, his form dropped. I haven't heard much about him. But I think even if his form dropped, he still, you could say, did put away, you could say, an ample amount of goal opportunity. 5'11". Okay, who's 5'11" and who's the other one? And Snow says we need players that can cope with the pressure of playing in the Premier League. I think Jonathan David can play. He can cope. Maybe I wouldn't mind. Again, if we sign him, because given the way he applies himself, you could say he's capable of playing on the flanks. Yeah, and that's what the manager has been asking for. He's been asking for players who's capable of playing across all the attacking line, which you can say he's that guy. Nkunku is that guy. Jackson also can play on the flanks. given the way he applies himself on the pitch. But that's by the way, we'll move on. And Udo Ettenberg Jim sounds like a brother from, to be specific, Calabar. My concern is on the medical team. The rate in which the players go on long-term injury is very frustrating. I think you're saying the truth here, but here's the thing: we have to again tell ourselves the truth. They've changed. You can say I think they've revamped the medical team. So I don't think the issues we're having now is, you can say, down to them. No, because Romeo Lavia has joined us. It just seems as if that's another way to confirm that the player has truly joined the Chelsea Football Club. Malo Gusto, after completing a move to Chelsea, got injured even before again he joined us proper by, you can say, because he had to finish the season with what's his team again? Was it Leon? He has to finish the season with Leon before joining. He got injured, so it just that's a pattern there that you could say, it is maybe that's another way to confirm that the player has really truly become a Chelsea player. That's how I see it. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Big up to you too, Chelsea fan. I appreciate you joining. Tane is a 5'11", and David is 6'0". So David is just slightly taller. Yeah, please. I don't do I don't do the other measurement. You can say, what's the term I'm looking for? You need Ivan of Ferguson, Tony, or Osimhen. Do I think we'll go for Osimhen? I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Plus, the Saudis probably they've ended up making them even more costlier than we could have been able to get him for, because they went in for him, I think, with 150 or how much. Exactly, I can't quite recall. But that's by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We could have signed David since the summer, even since last 3 seasons. Keisha, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. And how's the restaurant, your new channel growing? Please do tell people about it so they can go check it out. Tone is a 5'10". Jonathan David is a 5'11", so he's slightly taller. Sorry, made mistake before, but still, you still present the fact that Jonathan David is a bit taller. Big up my guy. Hope all is well. Jacob Huggins, I can't complain. Appreciate you finding the time to join the chat today, and I cannot. I thank you now for asking how I'm doing. I hope you're doing well too. Big up Eugene. I appreciate you joining. We'll move on to the next item. Jonathan David, again, let me see if anybody else has anything to add to that. And Eugene, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. And pardon me, I have to take a sip of my coffee so I don't lose my voice. Yeah, let's keep it going. What else do we have? Anybody else want to say anything with regards to that? We need a striker who is more of a poacher. Do you have any suggestion? I want to hear you. Or do you think David would be that guy for us? I'm going to say what I've said before. I'm not too sure whether I would be seriously pushing to sign another striker, given that we have Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson. Even with us knowing that Jackson will leave for AFCON in January, most certainly, in my opinion, if you ask me. But the whole thing, if we're being truthful to ourselves, comes down to how well Amanda Broyer does. If after recovering from his injury, he starts firing in all cylinders, I don't think the club will be looking to sign any other striker to compete with Jackson. I think it makes sense. Today has a legend game at the bridge versus Bayern's Legends. That would be an interesting one. I don't know if I'm going to have, again, if it will be televised or whether I'd have the time to do a watch along, even if it's even if it will be on TV. I don't see us going for Tane. Too old, and Brentford will want silly money. And rumors are that they asking they will ask for 80 million pounds plus, which for me is too much for a player who would not play for till when. I don't know when is he gonna when is he going to be able to play? I think he's suspended for how long? I don't think it makes sense. But let's see what the club does. Pay-per-view. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. What do you think? What Genteri said about Mason Mount, proper Charles? I don't know. Here's the thing. As long as he says he's not going to get. I think I read that where he said something to the effect of there are two sides to every story or every situation, or for lack of a better term, there. But he's not going to tell the other side. If he's not going to tell the other side, I don't care what he has to say, whether Mason Mount is proper Chelsea or not. He has to tell the other side of the story. If I don't hear the other side of the story, I would just take it at face value. I would, you could say, based on my judgment on what I witnessed, because during that particular transfer conundrum, I'm not going to waste my time on that. We need to put Nkunku up front and sign one more creative midfielder. That's what I think too, and I think that will happen. But right now we cannot sign anybody. Let's see how the manager handles the situation. He will be 28 in March, so it doesn't even make sense. And I'm gonna go back to what Bobby said the last time we talked about Ivan Toney, where he said, yeah, whether he's overcome the gambling addiction. Bobby argued that at his age, he'll be thinking about retirement, which means there's that risk. The risk of him going back into still gambling is always there. Trying to make sure he has his future secured, for lack of a better term. Let's keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We need Eugene. Okay, let's move on to the next item we have lined up here, so we can continue. But I appreciate you all finding time to join. 21 likes. Let's get the likes up. Let's try and get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. The likes usually drops whenever the transfer window shuts. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if any of you have, if you guys have read this, where it says Chelsea Football Club's new 24-25 home kit is set to be an interesting one. It has been leaked by leak guru Goldesagio. The Nike Chelsea FC 2024-2025 season home kit football shirt introduces a first in the club's history. It combines the traditional blue and white with the reddish orange. I'm not sure what to make of it. I think we've always, in the years back, we've had jerseys with orange combo in it. So I'm not sure. This is nothing new in the club's history. In my opinion, I'm not too sure what they're trying to say here. Nothing new there. We've had a mix of orange, and there's a time where one of the, I think the third kit was in its entirety was orange with just stripes of white, not even blue. Or I can't quite remember, but it's nothing new. But we can't see the jersey here. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all. So we have to move on to that one. So Chelsea's jersey or uniform, like Americans would call it, having an orange combo is nothing new. I think I even have one orange one that's so bright. I think for the Champions League that, but probably warm-up kit, or you can say training kit. You need glasses to look at it. If I tell you again, if I tell our coach that we cannot be doing the same thing and be expecting a different result, it's like the formation is not favoring us compared to Conte's era. Here's the thing. The fact that we created a few good chances and did put them away, to me tells me that the structure wasn't the issue. If we put away the chances we created during those games, I know you're thinking about. I don't think we'll be talking much about the structure, in my opinion. The question a lot of people are asking, that I myself is also asking, is why play Chilwell? Why have Chilwell operate as a winger? But that's why we're moving from that. Lucas Paqueta in January would be great. Maybe the club will consider him. I honestly do not know. How's this early those leagues? Yeah, it just yeah, 2024-25. But here's the thing, it happens, but here's what I'm saying here. Even if that's the case, orange is nothing new. Introducing an orange combo, you can say an orange color into the Chelsea uniform or jersey if you prefer, it's nothing new. It's been happening for a while now. I don't know why anybody thinks it's anything new in the club's history. I don't think that's the case, in my opinion. We need to rotate Enzo with Nkunku. That position is too vacant on the pitch. Wow, some interesting, some interesting suggestion there. And that is if Poch will play with the 10 again, hopefully. Let's see what happens. I think he will. I think he will mix it up. For him to have started with a back three, I don't think he drops it all together. But for him to be able to mix it up effectively, every player we have out injured would have to be back and ready to participate. Let's see. Let's see again. We definitely need someone to run the show in that 10 role. Yeah, we need a traditional number 10. I've argued that when people were saying all we needed was just two CBs, one DM, well, at least one DM, and then a number 9. But now I think it's becoming clear that we do need a traditional number 10. Kante made Poch. Okay, so saying if no Kante, then he would fail. Just my thoughts so far. How am I wrong? I don't know. That's up to you. I'm not sure what to make of that particular comment right there. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. When pardon me, I have to take a sip of my coffee quickly. All right. Hybrid of 8, a 10, and then Nkunku up front. That may well work. Dominic Maximilian and actually pick up coach. They mean the first time orange will appear on the home kit. Oh, okay. Did they say something like that? Okay, home kit. Okay, specific here. Okay. Yeah, it has never been on the home kit. Yeah, now it makes sense. But thank you so much for explaining. I appreciate you there. Let's see what else we have here. We fumbled Felix. It's going to be a long time. Phillips, to me, isn't a traditional 10, even though he's capable of fulfilling that role. He has no history where you look at you don't look at his history and say he's a fine creator and he's created so much. No. Felix to me isn't again that 10 we're looking for. Would I have loved us to keep him? Yeah, I would say yes, but not to the extent of making him. You can say relying on me, relying on Felix as the guy that we expect to see double digits in terms of chances created by the time the season ends. And he's not the guy for me. Long time come across a proper 10 like Felix isn't a proper 10 in my opinion. And even if you think he's one at Atletico Madrid, did he play as a proper 10 for them? No, I'd argue otherwise. If Spurs never had Harry Kane, then I think he might have failed. Maybe. No, Felix just dribbles and circles in place. For me, he's not a proper 10. As much as if you ask me, I'd say, yeah, I would have loved us to keep him. So we'll move on from that item. Then let's go to the next one we have lined up. Infinite Athlete. Finally. Infinite Athlete will be a front of shirt sponsor during the ongoing season for Chelsea. The sponsorship fee will be £43 million. That's quite a lot. If I remember, Allianz was offering just 22 and 22 per year. Now we're getting nearly 3 times as much of what Allianz was offering us. So this is a good deal. This will help us balance the books. Hopefully they get it sorted out as soon as possible. Because it seems like we're borderline, you can say, into trouble with the FFP. No, Felix just dribbles and seconds. I think I've read that one. No player like Felix, too offensive. We need offensive 8. Wow. Okay, I'm not sure what to make of that. FC Barcelona coach Xavi unimpressed by João Felix in training. Once talks after international break. Wow. If that is the case, then he really does have an issue. Or maybe you start saying, okay, there's actually substance to the rumors that Pochettino didn't want him, but I didn't want to believe that. But here's the thing, in my opinion, I think we didn't keep Felix because of Atletico Madrid's asking price plus his salary. Because believe me, that's an issue, whether you like it or not. At Chelsea, we have again a financial. At the time, the club's priority at the time must have been to sell players, balance the books, and also sign players in areas you can say we deem a priority, and that has been the case so far. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, the likes to go along with for Infinite Athletes. Hopefully, we'll see that deal. Get the club get the deal over the line to help us balance the books, so that we all can relax and not fear for our club getting into trouble with the FFP body. And this says after Infinite Athlete sponsoring the Chelsea shirt this season, Riyadh Air is a potential front of shirt sponsor for the 24-25 season, which means excuse me, Infinite Athlete will be just for this current for the current season, and then Riyadh Air will take over from take over in the during the 24 or 25 season. So that makes sense. Let's see anything else. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all. And my bro, Oladipo Meso is in the house. Good morning, coach, and everyone in the community. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And apologies, yeah, that I haven't had the time to finish that project. I think we'll finish it, but if we see that by the time we finish it, it will be irrelevant, then we'll switch to something else that will help the channel grow. I know you trust me, but that's why we'll move on from that. Let's see the next item we have lined up here. We don't want to dwell on this one too much. We don't have too much stuff to talk about, but mainly what we do today will be the lineup building exercise, so we can have some fun with that. All right, there you go. Carney Chukwuemeka is set for another month on the sideline after damaging his knee. What is going on? In more positive news, Trevor Chalobah and Benoit Bottichile are nearing returns, and Amanda Broya is building up his fitness, which means he's ready. Just needs to be fully fit to get a start. Probably will be ready by after the international break. But for Carney Chukwuemeka, from that injury he sustained, I think that game was against West Ham United. Now we're hearing that, he's damaged his knee also. Wow. I'm not too sure what to make of that. For another month, let's make a sense of it. We were told he was going to be back mid-October, so I don't think he has changed that much. I think probably the same thing said in a different way. If you pay attention to it, I think in the case of Carney Chukwuemeka, nothing has changed that much. I think he'll still be back. This is Eugene saying Creative 8, who will come in and finish of action is necessary for us. A big miss. I think we'll probably find a solution to that. Probably we spent so much again on some players and probably didn't have that much to get the likes of Turkey over the line, or maybe where's the guy that plays in Germany. I think we'll sort that out. Good morning to you too, Suleiman, Jate, Blue is a caller. How are you doing? I can't complain, and I appreciate you asking how everybody's doing. Let's see what else we have here. You need to audit this medical department. But we did that. I think, let me not say audit. I think we changed quite a lot of them aren't there anymore. A lot of the old heads aren't there anymore. Lots of them were fired. Some were fired, actually, we heard. There's no way to confirm whether that was the case or not, but not all of them. Not all the people that were that worked under Roman Abramovich, not too many of them are there anymore. So I'm not too sure what to make of it. So we'll move on to the next item. Hopefully he recovers quickly. I think he will be, you can say he'll be very important for us going forward. This one is shocking. First, we heard that he isn't ready to start. That he's been something that I can't quite remember the language that was used in that particular report that talks about his condition, and maybe to me, I read it as him not being fully fit at the time. So he was being, you can say, guided through a process to get him ready, maybe to be ready to play by the time after the international break. And then we started hearing that Chelsea Romeo Lavia will be sidelined for an extended period after the midfielder a suspected ankle injury was assessed on a Friday. He got injured during a training session. That's if you ask me, I'd say now that shows that he's truly a Chelsea player. I'm not sure what to. I'm not sure what to make of his case. He hasn't even kicked the ball for us. He's out injured, so maybe we should start asking questions of the managers. You can say methodologists, or maybe preferred approach to training. I'm not too sure what to make of it, but it's concerning. To a certain extent, I'm not the most superstitious person. But at some point, when you hear people talk about how, we need prayers, we need deliverance and all that, then you too will start thinking about it. I was hoping that he was gonna, you could say, get a chance to, make his debut after the international break. It turns out that will not be the case. And the concerning aspect is that he's going to be sidelined for an extended period after the midfielder's suspected ankle injury was assessed on Friday. Wow, I'm not sure what to make of that, but that's why we keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go along with 24 likes. We're not even we haven't even reached 50. We're aiming to get it to 100. Let's make it happen. Carney and Lavia, the aren't injury prone. They are. I wouldn't say they are. Carney, you can say I wouldn't say he is even again, and their when at their age, that's usually not a huge concern because they can overcome that. When you're talking about a player who's, you can say, in the late 20s or mid 20s, that's when it becomes a concern. But young players, they can, you can say, outgrow it, for lack of a better term. I am happy that Lavia will not play. A sad cause of injury or OFC is not good to hear for any player. But at the same time, I'm happy because you don't like him that much. But let's see. I think he's going to be huge for us. But hopefully he recovers as soon as possible. Let's say Romeo is good. I wanted to see him play already. Yep, I wanted to see him after the international break. In terms of all the players we have, you can say in that midfield area, I've argued. I've argued before that it's actually you can say the best in terms of helping the team play out from the back, in terms of beating the press. You can say he's the player that replaces what's his name, Kovacic, in my opinion. But that's why we're moving from that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along with. We'll let go of good medical team to get a company in to deal with it, and it doesn't look like it has helped. Even new players are getting injured. But I'm not going to read too much into it. Hopefully, it just as we see it, maybe it's just a coincidence. Let's just believe that's the case, and I hope he recovers and be ready to play for us. He's more technical than Casado. Yep, I think I agree with that. And if we play with a 4-3-3 structure, I'd play him centrally because of his ability to beat the press effectively and help the team play out from the back. I think he will be huge for us, in my opinion. Todd is doing what he does. Another cook in the kitchen. I think we'll be all right. I get it. We're all concerned for one reason or the other, but I think we'll be all right. Also has a great long passing again, but behind which Casado doesn't really, and he can also put away chances, in my opinion. But that's it. I think we'll move on to the next item we have lined up. Let me see if anything new has emerged. So that we can address it and get into the lineup building exercise. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 26 likes. Appreciate you all. And also, Liam Lane, if you're watching, just know I haven't forgotten about you. I will find time to reach out to you as soon as possible. I hope you're coping with your situation well. Same thing as our brother Glenn 10. I hope you're doing well. This is something I honestly thought I wasn't going to get into, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Yeah, people. Let me just open those two items here. When we'll talk about them, then we'll move on to the next. We'll move on to the lineup building exercise. Let's see. I'm gonna go back here. We have 30 people watching, and we have just 26 likes. We should be doing better than that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. So let's go. Let's look at this. I want to look at that just for the sake of it here. Okay, this one. Give me a minute there. Yep, I like this picture. I don't know all the people here. But maybe I'll try my best. Okay, let's see. But before we do that, let's see. Unfortunately, he's injured. Casado not. So one is enough to have on the team. So yeah, now I get where your argument is coming from, Eugene. These two players, Casado and Lavia, cannot create anything, but we need them to do a job for us. And maybe the manager can get them to start creating enough for us. Big up to you too. And I've said before, I'm not sure what to say on them. Or should I just call you S? But big up. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Yeah, let's see. That's true. But we cannot judge a defensive-minded player on their ability to attack. I don't think we can. I think we signed them for that reason, and probably there's a chance the manager can get them to be more creative. And in my opinion, I think actually there's more to Romeo Lavia's game. Actually, again, I've argued before that I don't see him as a defensive midfielder. Romeo can create. Casado not so much. That's why I prefer him. Casado and Lavia are players for the teams who are not favorites. Wow. Not gonna lie, Poch is not Poching. I think he will just relax. It's time. Rodri, creative defensive midfielder. You could argue this. So let's see what we have here after we address this when we get into the lineup building exercise. We have this. We have this here. Usually, I'm not into, you can say, reading what players that could have joined us and ended up not joining us. But he didn't say much, and that's respectful in my opinion. And I like him, very professional of him. We were close to getting the deal over the line. I think the issue with them on his part at the time was that he didn't want a situation where we'd sign him and and then loan him to Strasbourg. He wanted to join Chelsea straight away, and the possibility wasn't guaranteed. So he changed his mind. AOY, he speaks on the failed move to Chelsea. Chelsea, I didn't want to go there just for the sake of it. So that's him. Not, you can say, the only thing he didn't say, I didn't want to join them and then get and then loaned out to Strasbourg. He wanted to join Chelsea and join Chelsea straight away.
I
I don't think
agree.
it's great. And he hasn't, again, that's how you can say, that's how to be professional. You don't have to go overboard saying, you can say, how and all sorts of nonsense. But yeah, I think I respect him for that. And this year, some players here, is this Flo? Let's go by the name. Who is this? Is this Flo? Is this Andrew Flo? Am I mixing names up? And who's this? This is Ramirez. This is John Michaelo B. This is Ivorian International.
Kalu. Kalu.
Solomon Kalu. And this is Florian Maluda. Who's this guy here? Do you know him?
I don't see the picture well. I don't know him.
Okay. Do you know this guy here? Who's this guy?
Giggs.
Who?
Ryan Giggs.
Oh, is that Giggs? Okay. No, okay, but okay. It didn't look, but what is he doing with Chelsea Legends? Is this Flo? Correct me, I'm wrong. Is this Flo?
Yes.
Okay, so that's Flo. But who's this guy? Is this Pat Nevin? This is not Pat Nevin. Doesn't look like.
No, this guy is Frank Lebon.
Okay, Frank LeBoy, exactly. So, but yeah, this one got me thinking because I was thinking it looks like him, but what is he doing with Chelsea Legends? But that's by the way. We move on
Let
from
me
there. Yeah, go ahead. Were you saying something?
I'm gonna check the picture also on Twitter so they can confirm. Oh, it's not Ryan Giggs. Sorry.
But it looks just like him.
Yes. Actually, I don't know him.
All right. Thank you for saying the truth. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 26 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's get it to 100. I doubt we can, but if we do, I'd take it. Let's see. AOY, he needs to tone it down. We rejected him, not him rejected us. He didn't say he rejected us. And I've explained the reason why I think that deal didn't go through. It was because he wanted to join us. He didn't want a situation where we'd sign him. I think I remember reading that report. He didn't want a situation where we'd sign him and then loan him out to Strasbourg. And as you see there, he hasn't said anything wrong about Chelsea. And where's that one in particular? I think is it this one? Where's the AAY report? Where did I see it? Okay, the other window. He's just saying he didn't want to join Chelsea for the sake of joining Chelsea, which means he wanted to join Chelsea and join Chelsea straight away and not be loaned out. At this point, we might just hire all the religious priests and non-religious ones to come in, help cleanse Chelsea. Our problem is beyond football. I hope we fans don't start getting injured too. Yeah, it sounds like we fans need to actually find a way to protect ourselves so we don't start getting injured too, because it's redonkulous, really. Ryan Giggs is blue inside the six, really, if that's really him. But I don't think that's him. But that looks just like him,
No,
honestly.
that it's not. It's not Ryan Giggs. It's not Ryan Giggs. They're similar, but it's not Ryan Giggs.
It was body type and everything, and the smile and the face, everything. Yeah. Let's see what else we have. You keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Thank God we have Leslie. I hope he can do well. I think he'd do well. And if you ask me, I say the manager most definitely has a plan for him, and that's why he wasn't sent out on loan. Yeah, exactly. It seems like we practice harder than we play. Are people getting hurt? at practice. Maybe that's what it sounds like. Honestly, it sounds like we practice harder than we play during matches. Maybe that's why people are getting hurt during training sessions. Yeah, I would argue that too. We got the Man United a fan in the channel. We can get him to verify it. Yeah, it just looks like him, but I don't think it. I don't think he'd be there with them, in my opinion. The tall guy is Flo. Yep, I was able to tell that one immediately, even if I'm not too sure. His height gives it away. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with 27 likes. We're moving at a slow, you can say, snail pace this morning. Hopefully, we're able to get it to 100 as soon as possible. If not, that's fine. We'll move on. Tebago, anything you want to say with about any of the items we have talked about? Jonathan David, the possibility, the rumors that we have our eyes, we're set our sights on Jonathan David and are lining up an offer of around 60 million euros to sign him in January. I don't know. I read it and I said DJ would be very happy because he likes him so much. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Otherwise, we've been moving on to the lineup building exercise as soon as possible. You go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, I like Jonathan David. David is one of my favorite strikers. And then if Chelsea would buy him, I'll be happy. But at the same time, I think Chelsea will go for Ivan Tony. That's my thoughts about the striker issue. So I think Chelsea will go for Ivan Tony, but it's good to have alternatives. So yeah, man, I like this kid. If you get him, I'll be happy. Also, in terms of the injuries, I think our fans need to stop blaming everyone about this. No one can predict injuries. Unfortunately, at the moment we are facing this issue. We have to deal with it. Hopefully, players can recover and then never get injured again. It's simple as that. So I hate it when and people are blaming our medical team and or Pochettino training tactics. So man, I'm tired about that. Also, in terms of we are talking about what who when I was coming in here.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about a few names. We talked about the New Jersey. We talked about Infinite Athlete. We talked about what else? Connie Chukwemeka's setback. I don't know. This doesn't sound like a setback to me because we've always been told that he's going to be back mid-October. So if this says
Yeah.
spend another month on the sideline from now, still it will still be mid-October. So I'm not sure whether this makes sense. It's just somebody finding, you could say, reporting the Connie Chukwemeka. You can say how long you'll be out with the injury, just in another way. This is just recycling, in my opinion. But go ahead if you have anything to add to that.
All I can add, please people subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share the channel to everyone that you know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And this is Chelsea Romeo Lavia will be a sideline for an extended period after the midfielder's suspected ankle injury was assessed on a Friday. I don't know. You've heard us talk about this. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Otherwise, we move on to the lineup building exercise. You have anything to add to that, Tebago, or should we just go on?
Let's go on, coach.
All right, I'm gonna move on, and yeah, I'm not into talking about you can say what John Terry what he said about what he said about what's his name what he said about Mason Mount being Chelsea through and through. That yeah, there's always again two sides to a story, and but he doesn't want to tell the other side. If you don't want to tell the other side, then I'm not just gonna take your word for it and say, yeah, Mason Mount is Chelsea through and through. No, if you don't tell me the other side, then forget it. You just say, for in your opinion, that he's Chelsea through and through. It's simple as that. But we'll move on from that. So today we're talking about we're gonna be walking on the three at the back approach, 3-4-2-1. It can also be 3-4-1-2, where everything got swapped like this. If he wants to play with a 10, he can swap it up like that. If he wants to play with 2 8s, it can be something similar like this. It could just be 3-4-3, a flat 3 up front with forwards or maybe wingers. I don't know. So let's talk about this. What do you make of this structure, Tebago, if you're still there?
And man, you know about the structure. If
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna play, let's say for 3-4-3, let it be 3-4-3 without any complication of, for example, what you're seeing at the moment. Ben Chilwell played as a left winger. So if you're gonna play 3-4-3, let uh, Ben Chilwell be a left wing back. Then I'll be happy with the structure. Rather than seeing him on a player nine there, on player nine, Ben Chilwell there. No, no, no. I don't want to see him there.
You don't want to say a situation where it will be a hybrid approach with them being you can say with them you can say operating as a winger rather than a wing back. If we're gonna go with this structure and Chilwell starts here, let him operate strictly as a winger and as a wing
On
back
player
and
number
not as a
7.
winger. Yeah, that
Yes,
creates
as a
so
wing
much
back.
problem. Yeah, here's the people's argument is not again mainly some people that understand football. Their argument isn't the structure. Their argument is why play Ben Chilwell in that position, and then we see him operating as a winger. That's an issue. That's the only issue I had. I didn't at any time again. I've never at any time had an issue with him again with the structure, but how Ben Chilwell plays as a winger. But if you take your time, the truth remains. If you take your time to look at the structure, the truth remains that that's the manager trying to be. You can say deploy. You can say employ an offensive approach, but at the same time being. You can say being. You can say uh, being cautious at the same time. And that's why you see him playing Chilwell there because he has that defensive instinct and will always, you can say, help defensively, but it hasn't helped us offensively, in my opinion. And especially when you play against teams that defend deep, it becomes a problem for Ben Chilwell. But that's by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. Where's the people now who thought Enzo is a 10? I've always said that Enzo is a deep line playmaker. He's not a 10. If you play Enzo as a 10, to me, he'd be less effective. Why do I say that? Because Enzo needs to see the pitch to be more effective. His thing, you say, of all you can say, of all the attributes that define Enzo as a player, the dominating factor attribute there is his vision, and he needs to see the pitch very well to be more effective. I think Enzo will still be starting deeper for us in a deeper position for us, but as I've always said it, with the independence of freedom to roam on the pitch, you can say to be as adventurous as he wants to be on the pitch, but still starts in a deeper position. I think it'd be more effective in that case. Let's see, maybe in JT's dictionary, a Chelsea through and through is a Chelsea player who demands high wages until it's over. As opposed to again, as opposed to those Chelsea players who don't demand high wage at all. Not a proper Chelsea, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I like the way you put that. So if he's not going to tell us the other side of the story, yeah, I'm just going to go by what I've witnessed myself. Yeah, I don't need him to tell me whether he's Chelsea a proper Chelsea or not. I don't know. You have anything to add to that particular argument there, Tabejo?
As I said before,
It's funny, right?
yes, it's funny. I think uh, we need to stop protecting these players. But at the end of the day, he went to Manchester United for money, whether we like it or not. Simple as that. Because Chelsea were offering less than what Manchester United were offering. So if as proper Chelsea, you would have accepted the Chelsea the man that Chelsea was offering and stayed at Chelsea. Simple as that. It's not. This doesn't mix with game time because he was the main player for Chelsea. So I don't understand that.
And I don't think he should have gone to the extent of saying whether the player, whether he was his proper choice or not. Even Frank Lampard, that we call Mason Mount's dad, didn't go to that extent. You understand my point? Frank Lampard didn't go
100%.
to that extent. All he said at the time was just, I don't know what's going on. I hope they find a solution or something to that effect. I don't know. JT doesn't have to go to the extent of saying whether Mason Mount is proper choice or not. I know it is his right, but for me, if he's not going to tell us the story that made him think what, because he said there are two sides to every story, but he's not going to tell us the other side of the story. in my opinion, I'd say, yeah, I'll just go by what I witnessed. But my argument has never been whether Mason Mount is proper Chelsea or not. I just didn't like how everything ended, if you ask me. But that's just me, honestly. I have to move on from that. Just give me a second there. Let me take care of something. I'll be back with you in a bit. Right, there you go. And if I was JT, honestly, I would try to avoid to talk about that. I would say again, find a way to say it, a very polite way to put it, not to side with the player or the club, because right now, to some fans, they will see it as if he's siding with Mount. But go ahead. Were you saying something?
What did JT say about Graham Potter? Talk is cheap, man.
Oh yeah. Let's see. It's that time of the year, Jerry Z. Nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And we have Jump Points Entertainment in the house. Appreciate you joining. Much thanks to you. And people, please keep dropping the likes on the stream. People, let's get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. I know once the transfer with the shots, it's always difficult to get that number high. But that's why we have Roger in the house. Gracias, Roger. Hola, Senora. Konnichiwa. Assalamu alaikum. I think I'm missing bonjour. I think I'm missing one, but probably he pulls one from somewhere. But Roger, more importantly, I appreciate you finding time to join. I hope you're doing well.
What happened to aloha?
Aye, but that's not. Did you say that that's a language, really?
Yeah, it's Hawaiian.
I didn't know they had this. They have a native language in Hawaii. I've always thought it was English.
But before the Americans took it over, it was Hawaiian people, Polynesian people that lived there.
I didn't know that, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know, Rex, if you've seen what's his name? JT's comment. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, or we should just get on with the lineup building exercise.
I'm actually more concerned with Lavia.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about it.
This hit me like a baseball bat in the face.
Proper Chelsea, right?
Yeah, he can retire a Chelsea player now. he hasn't even stepped on to the pitch for a real game yet, and he's out injured. You know, listen. You look at Tuchel.
That happened just quickly. That happens with Gusto, Nkunku, and now him.
Yeah, it's and it's not just that. It's you look at under Tuchel, we had injury issues. Remember, and then under his successor, my former client, he experienced a plethora of injuries. And you're thinking the law of averages, you know, it will even out. Now we're going to see a fitter, healthier. We've changed our medical staff. We've changed coaching staff. So the training's going to be different to a certain extent. You know, all teams do the basics, you know, but it depends on what order, and they add their own, shall we say, bespoke kind of sessions. So you can't blame the coaching staffs, because you're looking over 3 different coaching staffs. You're looking over multiple changes in the medical. It's, I hate to say, it's lady luck or the lack of. But I'm infuriated. I feel so bad for him. I'm infuriated because, you know, if you recall at the beginning of the season, I was saying Fofana and James need to prove themselves this year, not be injured, and didn't even last one bloody game. It's infuriating because and by the way, they're not players that are 30, 33, 35, 38. We're talking about young players. How old is Lavia? He's a teenager, right? Isn't he still 19? I have to look it up.
I think at most 20. Let me check. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, the ripe old age, coach. The ripe old age is a codger. It's a joke. You look at Nkunku, 25. You know, you look at Broja. But if you've ever seen
Lavia still 19.
Yeah, you look at Broja. Broja was all alone. It was a non-contact sport. His knee buckled. We're very unlucky, and you know, I thought we had put the injuries, we buried them, and I'm just infuriated that I'm upset the fact that, you know, this coaching staff and this team hasn't been afforded the luxury of being able to train together and therefore play together on a consistent basis because of injuries. And listen, injuries is part of the game. You have to understand that, but not when you're decimated. When you're missing 6, 7, 8, sometimes up to 12 players, that's not injuries. This is decimation.
And at this point, you still think it's luck. You don't think it is some supernatural force.
No,
against
no,
us.
no. It's not all the Man U fans with their voodoo dolls, with the pins sticking in it. No, it's not.
But if you're that supernatural by this time, by now you'd be saying, yeah, I think that's the case.
I'm pretty sure a lot of other Premier League teams are freaking buying voodoo dolls on Amazon because they're like, oh, it seems like it's working. But realistically, all joking aside, let's be honest here. It's an unnatural run of poor luck with regards to injuries, and you can't blame any administration because, as I said, Tuchel, Potter, and now obviously Poch. It's there's no common denominator.
It was worse under Potter.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you couldn't get much worse, could you? Really, unless the plane goes down. It's. But then again, listen, we were up to, okay, I'm including Bettinelli, which doesn't really count, but we were up to 8 rotational or starting players missing, and we're going to get 2 or 3 back, but now we're losing more players again. And not just losing them, some of them, they're having, shall we say, complications where they're not returning on time. It's frustrating, and I'm shocked. Maybe I'm naive, I don't know. It's horrible. It's like,
but should we be concerned about the manager's training approach? Because a lot are happening during training sessions right now.
Yeah, but this could be the result of all these games played over the years, whether it's youth football, it's playing internationally for under 21s, under 19s, just the accumulation of all these minutes. And don't forget, these are finely tuned athletes, machines, and perhaps we're pushing their bodies to the limit. It's ridiculous. I feel so sorry for these young players because, listen, I've been very lucky. I've played a lot of sports, and I played serious sports, not professionally, but, I've never experienced a major injury. I have friends that have, unfortunately. So I've been blessed with lady luck in that regard. And I can't imagine what it's like to go through, mentally I'm talking about, more so than physically, of the rehabilitation that's required.
The most I've suffered a broken wrist.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, because it's not a grass field. But I don't want to talk about that. But I understand your point.
But that's what I'm just. When I think it was. Did they announce it yesterday or the day before? I forget. For Lavia, I was seriously. I was shocked.
I couldn't believe it either.
My jaw hit the ground.
Sort of sense. Yeah.
It's how worse can it be? It's getting to the point where it's farcical. It's a joke.
Yeah, which is you can say he's truly a Chelsea fan. He's Chelsea through and through now. Good day to you too. Let's see. JC says I am envious as how good Chelsea would do. But I am shocked that Chelsea fans don't see that. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't see that. But at the same time, right now I'm concerned about the injuries. But you can say not that concerned because we still have enough players to do well. Why are our players being injured so often? How can we prevent them or reduce the amount we have? Honestly, I wish I have an answer to that, but I don't really. The players need some of the yam Usain Bolt eats. They need stronger bodies. Wow. Fans should support Poch. Early days, a brand new team, injury crisis. Don't hate the world. Don't hate the world, patience. We are talking about a short-time patience. Say 3 to 4 weeks for things to streamline. I think I'm good. I think a lot of people understand that. It's just an ankle injury. Relax, Roger. Relax. That's Constantine Dante telling you to relax. But still, it's so concerning.
Yeah, but how long is he going to be out? If
they say you can an extended period of you can say what that means. We don't know.
That's vague. That's very vague.
Seriously vague.
An hour is an extended period of time compared to a nanosecond. It's all about relativity, right? Let's be honest. So
no, it's just like seeing again. He'll be back. You can say soon. Soon could be tomorrow. It could be next
Are,
week.
are we looking at a month? Are we looking at longer?
Yeah, that's why I don't trust that. But even though I'm not happy that again,
Just shoot me, coach. Shoot me.
yeah, I'm not happy that's injured, but this is seriously vague, in my opinion. Even
Yeah.
this one this report for Carney Chukwuemeka is still seriously vague. After that injury he sustained against West Ham United, we were told that he'd be back mid-October. So
Right.
now we're not even mid-September, and they're saying Carney Chukwuemeka is set for another month on the sideline. Doesn't make sense. And if you don't pay attention, you think, oh, did he sustain a new injury? It doesn't sound like it here. It just if he says for another month, which means it's still mid-October.
Yeah, so it's very vague. Does that mean an additional month, or it's vague?
You can say with intent, maybe vague with intent.
Yeah, deliberately, obviously.
Yeah. But that's, by the way, let's see. Realistic Roger never had a serious injury while sipping a cup of tea in his go between the sticks, right?
Damn.
Yeah. Like you didn't have too much to do at the time, or you just sip coffee. So why would you get injured in the first place? That's the question he's asking.
Damn, that's cold. Sipping a coffee.
Yeah.
I could have sprained my pinky finger while drinking tea. You know.
Yeah, and the man Fowler is suggesting we get a new medical team. We've done that already, so it didn't make sense to switch. So, Roger, let's talk about this structure here. Chances that we see that again after the international break.
Yeah. But by the way, can I just interject very briefly?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I want to say something about our formation. I think Poch is being a bit disingenuous here to say we're using.
In what sense? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I shall. Formation-wise, listen, I don't have any coaching badges. I don't profess to be an SME, a subject matter expert. But when I look at TV and I see 3 people in the back line ahead of the goalkeeper, that's a back 3 to me. It's that simple. Yes, occasionally, if one of the defenders slips into the back 3, I get it.
To explain it away.
Yeah, you're like, oh, no. Colwell is our left back. Like, no, he's not. He's listen, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a bloody duck.
Most likely a duck.
Yeah, this is a back 3, period. You can use all the shall we say disguises you want to, saying that Colwell is a left back, but he's not playing a left back. He's playing in a back 3 position. He's playing as a left centre back because he's parallel with the other 2 players. Yes, he may be out wide, and the right centre back may be out wide also, more so than your average back 3. I get that, I concede that, but it's still primarily and consistently, for the most part, a back 3. So
even with a hybrid, even if you say it's a hybrid approach,
but it's not
to explain.
You see Colwell occasionally move up into midfield on the left side, and he's done that occasionally. But for the most part, every time I've watched these games a minimum of 2 occasions, a minimum. And you know what? I see a back 3 constantly. Whenever the camera pans out. Now, obviously, it's better if you're actually at the stadium where you can see the panoramic view 24/7, where you're not out of camera view. So I get that, I concede that. But each and every time I've seen it, I see there's a back 3. I would say 80-90% of the time. I don't want to hear them say it's a back 4. It's not a 4-2-3-1. It's not. It's a back 3. It really is, because it's a flat back 3.
We have numbers in attack. But it's still, you can say, a bit unorthodox, in my opinion. Go ahead.
To me, the vast majority of the time, Tebago. Hello, Tebago, by the way. I apologize.
Yeah, even during preseason, if you checked, we're playing for in the defense, but again, during build-ups, always a back 3. If you notice that.
Yeah, it's so I don't want to hear it being called a back 4, because if it's a back 4, you would only have 2 people in the back line, and you would have your left back and your right back further up the field. There will be what you would call a demarcation. You wouldn't see a flat back 3. You'd see a flat back 2 consistently. Occasionally,
why I'm laughing, Roger.
Why?
The first time I used demarcation in the United States, trying to explain something to my colleagues, nobody understood what I mean. What I meant.
Yeah, it's serious. You know what I'm
They're
saying.
used
though,
to
in this
divider.
context.
They're
Yeah,
used to the word divider.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but go ahead with what
demarcation.
you were saying.
It's. Do you see where I'm coming from? To me, I put it in my spreadsheets. These are not back fours; these are back threes, in my humble opinion. Because when the camera does pan out and you see 90+% of the time you see a flat back three, even though they're spread out, I can see that. That to me is a back three. I don't want to hear anything else.
You know the issue is, Roger. Let's say, for example, we can see Ben Chilwell is played as a left wing right or as left wing back. Let's say this: if Ben Chilwell was effective, no one will be complaining this time. But now our left hand side is useless. It's, that we are not creating anything. We're offering anything. So, but what?
No, I was going to say, in terms of Ben Chilwell playing that position, I'm just going to say something I heard my good friend and brother, Uncle Justice say. We should blame the manager for him playing there in the first place. I get it.
Yes.
He has issues that I blame him for, but him operating as a winger, we should blame the manager for that. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. Like, for example, if Ben Chilwell was effective, no one gonna complain. But now, since it's not effective, we're gonna complain. Hopefully, Pochettino and his team took their time to analyze our 4 or 5 previous games and then see what they can add to this team, because that side look lost, and then it's not helping the team at the moment.
Yeah,
Coach, can I quickly ask you?
Yeah.
Is Levi Colwell? Is he your cousin on your mother's side or your father's side? I'm just curious.
The love, right?
Yeah.
Get new medical team. We've talked about that. And this is a pinky injury. That was the injury Roger had during his days as a goalkeeper. And Adekole Tami Tope, I appreciate you, brother, and always nice to see you. Says big up Coachila and the crew. I haven't seen you in a while. More importantly, I'd like to ask, I hope things are okay on your end. Please do let us know. I've missed being here, but it feels great to listening today. Again. Nice to see you. More importantly, I hope you've been well. Pinky ligament injury. That was what Roger had. Okay. Let's see. Not gonna lie. Should have signed a striker instead of a Lavia. Wow. Some argument there. People are blaming a medical team as if that's from Jacob Huggins, as if it is their fault. Players are getting tackled in training and being forced to play by the coach. Instant, I never blamed the medical team. It just doesn't make any sense. If anything, you have to take your time to look at the training approach. Maybe but I don't think that's the case at this point. Given you can say the time span between the injuries, or I know that. Not gonna lie, calm down. When Broya and Nkunku is around, the season starts. Doesn't matter for Wale. You could argue that. A good day, everyone. Good day to you, to Supreme Court. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. Roger, as a keen analyst, it's worth noting that Pochettino is known for his tactical versatility, often utilizing players in different positions, including left back and right back, or left and right wings. That brings me to a question I want to ask Roger.
Hello, Jay-Z.
Go ahead, Roger. It looks like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say hello, Jay-Z. No, I totally agree with you. No argument there. But I'm just saying, as a matter of, I'm being pedantic here is what I'm doing. I'm being
Roger,
ridiculous.
What is pedantic, please?
Pedantic meaning too detail
pedantic or pedantic?
Pedantic meaning being too detail orientated with regards in this scenario. So I get that, however, I'm just saying that technically you can call it whatever you want to. You can call it an alligator, but I'm sorry, if it quacks and it waddles and it's got a beak, it's a bloody duck. It's not an alligator. It's that
most
simple.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I'm with you. Let's see. He demonstrated this at Sports and at PSG. Well, so why are we surprised? I'm not surprised. I think Roger is talking about something else.
No, it's just a
him
fact
saying
that
it's a back four. Roger saying it's definitely a back three.
Yeah, because it really. Let's be honest with you. you can call it whatever you want to, but when you see 3 people in the back line, then what else? And I'm not talking about occasionally. I'm talking about how often have we had the ball, like 83% versus Forest, I think it was, in the second half. And all you saw was 3 people in the back line. That's all you saw. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, and maybe it's a back 3 square.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. To me, that's a back 3. Period.
Yeah. I think it's a player's diet, because not eating the right food as an athlete can contribute to weak joints and muscles. Wow. Are you a doctor? I am happy we did not sell Conor Gallagher or Ian Matson. Let's see. Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 0. Okay, Chelsea 6. Enzo going to exit next summer. Ciao. Okay, he's a Chelsea fan, but let's see what happens. They should have resigned Hazard instead of Lavia. Let's see. I had an ankle injury where a piece of bone chipped off inside ankle. Was out of 3 months. I still can see that bone fragments in scans. Wow, in scans now. It's bad spot. Couldn't operate, but was all good then and now. Wow. I will pass ESL with flying colors if I tune more to this stream with Roger as one of the panelists. Wow. Might have a problem when I am old, like 70 plus, they said. Oh, yeah. Roger obsessed with ducks recently.
Crispy duck.
Okay. I think we're all in agreement that the 4-2-3-1 formation is sexy for Chelsea. It's a formation I like so much, and I think it's still play that. He's known to play that predominantly, to deploy that structure, to go with that structure predominantly. When will Badiashile come back? I'm hoping, soon, right? As an individual, hoping after the international break. Some are saying probably a bit more, but I think he probably gets to play after the international break. I'm not sure what sort of training he needs to go through before if he's not going to be ready in 2 weeks since he started training with the team. He started a full training about 3 weeks now. I think he should be ready, but it's up to the medical team to confirm that he's fully fit to start. Roger, here's the question I want to ask. A lot of people have been, you can say, arguing or maybe blaming the structure for the result against West Ham United, the result against Nottingham Forest, but numbers show that the structure wasn't the problem. We weren't just clinical. But I want to get to hear you talk about it. I get it. We have issues. Benchi were playing in, or you can say operating as a winger, right? While we have traditional wingers on the bench. But if you understand football, I think there are reasons behind the manager doing that. But beyond that, would you say, or do you agree that the structure is in any way one of the reasons why we didn't win? We lost against West Ham United and lost against Nottingham Forest.
Absolutely no, of course not. Come on, listen. It's all about execution. You cannot blame the coaching staff for Jackson missing that open goal. You cannot blame.
As much as I like Jackson, just quickly, that miss defies physics.
Yes.
In so many ways. Because I don't know.
If he
but go ahead, Roger. Let me not dwell on that.
If you were to, yeah, exactly. I don't want to, but let's say if you got points by hitting the ball over the bar, he probably would have missed it and it would have gone in the net. You know, listen, you can't blame the coach for Enzo missing the penalty, you know, or having it saved, etc. You can't blame the coach for Caicedo having a bad touch, which leads to us conceding against Forest.
The mix-up in the midfield between him and Gallagher.
Yeah, it was Caicedo's touch that got away from him that resulted in the loss of the ball, basically. These things are what you call based on execution. Actually, the ability to not, shall we say, execute the application at hand. It's that simple. The statistics backs up the eye test where we dominate, where I believe we lead the league in crosses, if I'm not mistaken, or we're second. We lead the league in forward
chances created.
Big chances created. You name it.
But the downside is that we also lead in big chances missing.
Yeah, no, yeah. You noticed that, huh? Yeah. So what does that tell you? I've always subscribed to this notion. I would rather us lose where we are playing so well as opposed to win playing poorly. Because if you extrapolate that over the course of a season, you're going to win far more than you would ever lose if you're playing well and you're dominating a game, which is what we're doing for the most part. You can say that safely about every single game this season. We have looked the better team, or at least equal to our opponent. But it's the lack of execution and the errors defensively which have led to us conceding goals. It's a recipe for disaster. It's that simple. But the fact that we're creating chances, the fact that we're progressing the ball, etc., etc. You can go through a plethora of all these statistics. We're in the top 2 for the most part in every single important category, other than the scoreline, of course. So I have no qualms or concerns about this going forward, because if we continue as such, we will more than likely win far more games and draw more games than we would lose.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And when you say, in my opinion, given your analysis right now and everything we've talked about, honestly, in my opinion, if we're being truthful to ourselves, it's been more positives actually than negatives. I get it. I get it. It's very common with Chelsea fans. Once we lose a game, it doesn't matter positives or negatives
But
of the
this
measure,
time,
or
Coach,
how they
this
measure
time,
against each other. They just find one. You can say they always need something to point at.
Coach, this time last year, you and I were concerned about Chelsea under Potter the first 10 games. We looked horrible. And everyone was saying, hey, we're unbeaten in 10. I'm like, do you remember the conversation we had? I'm like, I'm sorry. We look like
has
crap.
arrived.
Yeah, I'm like, we look horrible. I have major concerns, and we got lambasted for it, like being negative. I'm like, no, it's just what my eyes are telling me. And as I said, we look far better, even though statistically we are worse off than we were under Potter in his first 4 games. It doesn't matter, because it's the application, it's the way we're playing. So
we look more like a team, even though we have an entirely new team, honestly.
Exactly. Sorry,
yeah. Go ahead, Tebago. Sorry, for holding you back.
Trust the process.
Oh, really? You're going to go there with that?
But again,
really
guys.
Wants to go there.
But again, guys, we have to be honest. If our players were clinical, we wouldn't have 4 points now. Let's be honest. We've been playing so good. Yes, it's not fantastic, but good enough to win games.
Yeah,
but good enough given the fact good enough given the fact we have an entirely new team.
Yes, and also silly mistakes cost us games. These games that we've lost and drew, those silly mistakes, not Pochettino mistakes. And another thing, if for example no one is consistent, Sterling had 2 games, good games against West Ham and Luton, right? And then the game that we lost, he was nowhere to be found. We can't blame Poch for that. Jackson missed those chances. We can't blame Poch for that. But our fans, I'm telling you, they're gonna find a little thing to blame either one player or Pochettino, which is annoying. We have to look in the positive thing first, then we can analyze the games rather than blaming players and stuff. No, man.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you. This says from Constantine Dante says we only had a couple of great chances. Those couple of great chances, had we put them away, I think we'll be talking how good we've been against the start to life. Pochettino's start to life as Chelsea manager has been. A couple of great chances. The rest was just passing around, whipping balls into our 7-foot striker. There wasn't enough attacking quality. Yeah, do I think there was enough attacking quality? I'd say no, but still we did well enough. Our players to break down that's on Poch. Okay, let's see Nkunku's experiences missing in the final third. Those are chances that weren't taken because players wasn't in the right positions. Wow, some argument right there. And Jackson missing the cities to add to Rogers' spicy analysis. Yeah, Roger will always tell you execution is everything. The manager cannot put the
Yeah.
ball into the back of net for you. He's done his job. He's drilled the team to play as a unit. Create chances. Then when it's time to put it in the back of the net, yeah, he doesn't have to remind you how to do that. I totally agree with Roger. Jackson missed two clear chances against Liverpool on top of the Forest miss. 7 by Pochettino. I think he will come good, but he should start doing that as soon as possible. I cannot believe we didn't get a replacement for Thiago Silva. I don't think we need any other replacement. I think we're good. We just have to learn to play in his absence, and that's how we start. Yeah, you can say phase him out gradually, but right now I think he's like one of our best players. So I don't know what we're gonna do in his absence. Because you can see that he's slowly dropping a form because of his age. And I wouldn't go to the extent of saying he's dropping form. I think the manager can always find a way to conduce. You can say his should I say shortcomings, or let me just use the time shortcomings given his age, because the truth is he's not perfect, but still he's one of our best players. And chances are now that we have good defensive players with midfielders within our ranks, I think the manager will still be comfortable playing him and just task or maybe charge the defensive midfielders to pay attention to what goes on once we lose the ball. You people expect from a striker to score always from one chance, but nobody talks about the thing how we can create anything like Haaland always score from one chance. I'm not sure what to make of that, but if I understand your point, we need more. We need to create more chances, and I agree with that. And yes, then, do I think had we gone since the application of the structure showed that Chilwell operated as a winger? Do I think had we gone with you can say a more offensive-minded player than a defensively cautious or a player with you can say more than 50% defensive instinct, or a defender that chances are maybe we could have created more chances or scored more goals? I would say yes, and that was why I wasn't happy that Chilwell started there. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, maybe. I think definitely. Listen, I like Chilwell. He does have, shall we say, his restrictions in ability. Yes, he does. He's a very good crosser, but he doesn't have the ability, like a winger, to take on someone and dribble past someone. He's able to run into the channel and cross the ball from there as a left back, not as a left winger.
He's not good at beating the opponent when there's no space. He always
exactly, and he lacks speed. Let's be honest with you; he lacks world-class speed. So he's a fish out of water. You can't blame him for this.
Yeah, and that brings me back to the argument that my good friend and brother Uncle Jess has made. He's not going to blame Chilwell for playing as a winger. He blames the manager. That's the only blame. Yeah.
You have to look at the coaching staff, whether that's the manager or whomever, and question. Now, I understand. Listen, you can't put Mudryk there, perhaps, because you need to bring him on slowly. He's too raw, and don't forget, it's all about fitness, shape, and so forth. And does he have the right mindset? Is he able to? We don't know yet. We're not privy to that. And we have a plethora of injuries. You know, now if you look at, for instance, Palmer. If you look at Palmer, he's an excellent crosser from the left side. His crosses are excellent. So maybe we'll use him as a left wing, or we'll put, for instance, Sterling there or whomever. But I believe we shouldn't continue with this application, the way we are using players. I believe Chilwell or whomever should be reverted back to a left back, and we need to have. Now we could use him as an emergency. God forbid if we lose any more players to injuries in that position, but he shouldn't be a left winger. I'm sorry, this is not his position. He doesn't have the attributes that are required to take on a player and beat that person and cross the ball.
And that's an issue.
Yes, and that
disclaimer just quickly. That's not us saying Chilwell was the reason why we're losing. We
no,
lost those
not
games,
at all.
or we haven't scored too many goals. No, he's still a good player, but we're just mentioning his deficiencies as the reason. Some of the reasons why he shouldn't be operating as a winger. If we need a winger, we have traditional wingers within our ranks. But go ahead, Roger.
that and compounded by the fact that Gusto, especially the last game, he's very good defensively, but his crossing ability, illustrated in the last match, was woeful.
But let's not judge him with just one, because
no. And as I emphasize, just one game. You know, you can't judge someone on one game, but he was noticeably woeful. So we were lacking quality in passes from both sides of the pitch. So this is a major contributing reason why. I'm not saying he's the only reason, but it was a contributing factor.
Yeah, people keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and if you can be clicking the heart icon, that will also help us reach more people. Let's see, corner kicks, PKs, free kicks, throw-ins. We don't have a specialist in these areas. Let's see what happens. We need to create way more, but not when players and formation not where they're supposed to be. Maybe again, you could say formation becomes a factor in terms of that when you talk about that. But if we're going by how many chances we miss, then I would say maybe a formation isn't the issue. If you don't have high IQ football in midfielders, you ain't creating no chances. We need a traditional number 10s who are fine creators. I've always preached that before. Poch playing itself with a new formation. I understood it against Liverpool, but set no way against the other teams. You think? Deploying defensive players in a winger role, it doesn't make sense. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Real Madrid 20 shots on opponent's goal every game. Poch being too careful. We need the prime Brazil mentality. You score us. Expect 3 goals. I think that's actually what I've known the Poch mentality to be. So I'm not sure why he's being that cautious this time. Maybe because too many changes in the team or so. Look, if Chilwell will not come good, Poch will change the system. Maybe he sees something in trying to incorporate an additional defensive player for the reason. No need to panic. I'm not panicking, but here's Stan. I'm going to explain what I think is his logic behind playing that structure with the two. With 5 defenders, let's just call it like that, is the fact that he's trying to be he's trying to you can say play with a balance of being offensive and at the same time being defensively cautious. Again, given that as a team, again as a new team as we are, chances are you will see disjointed displays, mistakes here and there, just like the mix-up between Casado's bad touch and Gallagher, who was close, maybe trying to help. I can't get into that, but you get my point. Exactly, Roger. That's why I am furious about Chelsea considering to sell Hall when we can sell Correa next season.
We had no choice. He wanted to leave.
Yeah, he wanted to leave. There's more to that story. Yeah, Roger just told you. It's a joke. We need creative midfielders. We can't sort it out now. Maybe Palmer will be the guy. We'll find out. How do we train and play away formation or all preseason up to a couple of days before Liverpool, then change a successful way of formation as well? Maybe down to the fact that Chilwell, we said Nkunku got injured. Maybe that led to them changing something. Coach. Sorry?
That was huge. Losing Nkunku is detrimental.
Yeah, so maybe that changed a lot in his plans. We don't know. Even Trevor Chalobah also not being ready, that may have been an issue too. So we don't know. Plus, lots of the players he played, a few of the players he played during preseason and starting. So that such thing can also lead to changes. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. We'll be saying if it doesn't change formation and add more creativity, or maybe doesn't change formation and still start Chilwell as a winger, then it becomes an issue. No matter we now win the league. I'm not sure what Namaya Formula is saying there. Poch cannot add more creativity because we didn't buy anything. I think we have creativity within our ranks, and I think he'll find a solution. Maybe not the best. And big up to you, Michi. You were the first person I said hello to, but you weren't in the chat at the time. If you're watching, people, go check out Michi Boss YouTube channel. Big up. Always nice to see you, Michi. That's the problem. We'll talk big up to you too. Having that extra player in attacking position 10 to link up our play is what's needed Not sure why he went away from it. Was so successful in preseason. You could argue that, but let's see. Maybe he comes back to that. Let's see what else we have here. Let's move on to the lineup building exercise. We're not going to jump or dwell too much. So, Roger, let's talk about this. I'm going to start by saying, if we're playing 2-6s, it doesn't matter whether Enzo starts as one of the 2-6s here, and so long as one of them is traditionally 6, like Casado or maybe Lavia, I don't think it makes sense to play with defensive players on the flanks here. If they're gonna apply themselves as wingers, for me, I would say if we're gonna play with 2-6s, let's play with traditional wingers in the wing back position, just like we're seeing under Thomas Tuchel, and he was effective. We have played Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. They were only got chances with counters, and Thomas Tuchel not being pragmatic enough. That was the reason why we lost that game, in my opinion. It worked. And if you're going to play with 3 center backs, we don't need any more defenders on the pitch. I want to hear your opinion, Roger.
With regards to what you're talking about,
in a 3, you can say in a 3 at the back structure. If we're going to play with 3 center backs, in my opinion, we don't need any more defensive midfielders on the pitch. Just like, for instance, under Thomas Tuchel, when he did that, he plays with traditional wingers on here, and even at you can say at Brighton, Potter did it effectively and it worked. But you need, and this is especially true if you have 2-6s, 2 of which you can say even if let's say Enzo is one of the 2-6s and 1 is only the traditional 6, it still works. Which means you have 4 defensive players on the pitch, so you can use offensive players as wing backs in this particular structure, in my opinion. But go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, no, exactly. Listen, I would like to not see. It depends. Like, I understand doing that against a top team like Liverpool, being more pragmatic. Have no problem with that. You know, if you get a draw, even though it's at home against a top team like a Liverpool or a City, etc., that's fine. Just avoid losing. But when you're playing, and I mean this respectfully, the lesser teams, let's say the 15 other teams, 14 other teams, we should be winning. Let's be honest. It sounds arrogant, but I don't mean it that way. I promise you. We should be beating the Forest, the Luton Towns, etc., etc. You know, on paper, at least. Now, perhaps I'm being naive, but I believe that by saying this, therefore, back 3 is not required. You need a 4-2-3-1.
Even if you go with it, it should be with an attacking intent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because of the fact our back line and our goalkeeper should be able to repel most advances on the break. It's that simple. We should be, with the amount of crosses, with the amount of progressive passes from Enzo, who's leading the Premier League, etc., and the quality we have. True, we don't have a Reece James yet. He is a difference maker, you know. And yes, we don't have an Nkunku, but once these players return, hopefully, the quality should shine through. The biggest observation I can give is the fact that it's the nail in the coffin when we concede first against a low blocking team, because all they're going to do is just play 5, 6, 7 at the back. It's that simple. And they're saying, come and break us down. I dare you. No, we need to score first to bring them out, which will allow us to you know, because of the spaces that they leave, we will succeed in that. We will excel by taking advantage of those spaces. But that hasn't come to fruition. So this is what needs to take place. We need to score. We're not clinical. It's all about execution, coach.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It's all about
attacking intent. Exactly.
Yeah,
less defensive players. We don't need 5, 6 defensive players.
No, we don't. We don't. Because you could actually say 7 defensive players if you count a defender playing here, a traditional defender playing here, and then 3 center backs. That's 5. And then if you play 2 6s, let's say if you play Casado and Lavia, then you have how many? That's like 7 defensive players in total. If that makes sense. So I think if we have 2 6s here, and one of them, even one at least, if one of them at least is traditionally a defensive midfielder, then we don't need to play wing back. We don't need the wing backs. You can say traditional defenders to play the wing back role. We need to start with our wingers there, and it has worked. It's something Thomas Tuchel did effectively. Potter did effectively at Brighton, and managers do that these days. It doesn't make sense to play 3 centre backs and still have traditional defenders playing in the wing back position. It just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. Let's see the marathon. Let's say if we get Haaland, we would have won us something. Chances are, if we get him, probably won't create enough for him to score enough goals to help us with anything. That's what I am saying, Coach. I totally understand. Imagine having Tonelli now in the team with Enzo and Casado together. I'm not sure what to make of that comment. Do I think we need Tonelli now? I'm saying no. Tonelli and Casado similar. I'd prefer Zubimendi. Zubimendi differs. Zubimendi is more aligned to Urate. You said that's not your stereotypical number 6. Those number 6s that has more to their games, and that brings to mind my boy. What's his name? At AC Milan. At one time, I've gotten tired and I've stopped saying his name. But let's talk. Let me talk to you. The Coolest Chels, Tebago, my bro. What do you make of this structure? What do you suggest we do if the manager persists on using this particular structure?
Do you think he will?
I think there's a chance I get it. I think he does that with an attacking intent, but at the same time, he's trying to be cautious. And I wouldn't blame anybody to argue. Had we started with more offensive players in those positions, probably we'd have more goals now. But I wouldn't say the structure has been the reason why we lost against West Ham United and Nottingham Forest. I think, but I don't want to get into that. So, Tebago, if you're there, what do you make of the manager going with this structure in the future? Even if he does, what sort of changes would you like to see if you're there, Tebago?
Yeah, the changes would be never ever play Ben Chilwell as a left winger. I rather play a midfielder there, if it's possible, than playing Ben Chilwell as a left winger. And I don't have the problem with the... Sorry?
Who do you want playing there?
I don't even... midfielder.
Yes, yes, so because my issue is that Ben Chilwell is one-dimensional player. So if you play there, you're gonna give us the same thing throughout the 90 minutes. When I have something a player that can do different things there, so I don't want that anymore. And I don't have the problem.
That's not us saying Ben Chilwell is a bad player. We're just saying he's not effective there. The manager needs to play a winger there. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yes, that's the issue. It's not effective. As I said before, if Ben was effective, no one will be complaining this time. But we saw that during I think two past games, right? So I don't have the problem with the structure because we've been playing it under Antonio Conte, even under Thomas Tuchel, and we created chances. But unfortunately, under Thomas Tuchel, we couldn't score them. But under Conte, oh my gosh, we had Hazard, Pedro, Willian, you name them. They were so superb. But now, they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that contribution there. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see what else we have in the chat here. Let's see. This says, what's going on with the likes? Let's keep dropping the likes. Yeah, here's the thing. It happens. It's something I'm used to. Once the transfer window shuts, likes become, even views become a bit shaky for a while. But let's see what else we have here. Big up Coachila. Big up to you too. I hope you're doing well, JC. Thank you for finding the time to join. And we have 47 likes. Let's get it to at least 50 and try to see if we can get it to 100 before we end the show. I appreciate you, JC. I hope you're doing well. They both break up play, defensive minded, are very similar, but also can do more than just breaking up a play. And Feded, okay, your first appearance for a while. I hope you're good. 150 million for a Brighton player is a robbery. It doesn't matter the club he plays for. I think we signed a good player in him. But I think it will come good. And you have somebody that loves such comments. He's in the chat. He concurs with you. So you have a good conversation with him right there. You can compare Chilwell to Alonso in that position. Alonso would have been the best option. I think they're similar in terms of their inability to beat their man when there's no space. What they both offer, go threat. That's just that. They're pretty much similar in my opinion. Poch used a 4-2-3-1 the whole preseason, so I don't get why he's experimenting with Chilwell. I'm going to say this again. The structure, the list of my issues. So, Roger, let's talk about the goalkeeper. I think the other structure when we did, I think 4-3-3. To me, I think Petrovic will eventually become the number one. If you followed Sanchez long enough, and also the little we've seen again, even from highlights, because if Sanchez had such highlights where he exhibits, he's exhibited good reflexes, I think it'd be out there. I think from what I've seen, I think Petrovic is more. He has a better reflexes than Sanchez, in my opinion. Sanchez looks like it takes him a lot of time to get to the ground. Once you keep the ball on the carpet, be rest assured it's going into the back of the net. But Petrovic, from what I've seen, he's good at again one-on-one, 1v1 situations. He can stop with his feet. Just that's my opinion, but I want to hear you, Roger. I think Petrovic eventually will become the number one.
I concur also. I believe that will eventually come to fruition. Maybe he'll get his start in the next cup game, Petrovic, and see how he impresses. Conversely, if Sanchez has a couple of screamers where he makes some bloopers, then perhaps he'll be replaced the following game, or at least Petrovic will at least be allowed to show whether he can play in the first team. I'm not sure when that will happen. It could be the Bournemouth game. It could be another couple of months. We don't know. It all depends. Listen, I would also like to see more of Sanchez. Just 4 games, 5 games is not enough. You need
more importantly, just to be fair.
Yes, because he's new to the club. Don't forget, he's been thrown in at the deep end. As I've said, do I think he's an elite goalkeeper? No, not at all. Is it possible he could be an elite goalkeeper? Possibly. Do I think it will likely occur? Probably not. Let's be honest, because he has deficiencies, but he also has some very positive attributes. So I think it behooves us to be a little bit more fairer and equitable in how we assess him. So, but I would like to see Petrovic, but I believe he should be given the opportunity to play in a domestic cup game first.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Unless there's an injury, of course. Then
or maybe some you could say primary school era from
schoolboy era.
We'll see. Let's see. Poch use a 4-2-3-1. But let's see what happens here. Coach give away penalty. I'm not sure what you're saying there. For a defensive midfield, mid definitely should not be more expensive than Tonelli. Wow. Okay, Casado is a robbery. That's just your opinion, my opinion. We did say at the time that how much we end up paying for Casado depends on how much how desperate we are to get him. Okay, enjoy watching your basketball game there. One thing to clear, Poch played the same style preseason. If something, we were alternating with either left wing or right wing, staying up as Chilwell or James did. The argument here is whether Chilwell should be starting and operating as a wing back. But thank you for, again, highlighting that once more, and enjoy the basketball game. Peace and blessings, Metaphors Doom. Always nice to see you. I appreciate you. All those Einsteins are saying that we changed after preseason. We changed a bit due to James's injury. Otherwise, the concept is same. Go and rewatch games if one thinks a preseason was different. Okay, good argument there. Let's see what else we have here. Some fans are too eager to make assessments and criticize and Poch without watching games. They need to first go back and rewatch those games. Okay, thank you for that. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Okay, what I am saying. Okay, let's see how you Tebago between the sticks. I don't know. Do you know enough to argue who starts between the sticks? For me, I still think from what I've seen, even though I'd say, yeah, I need to see him more. And I agree with Roger. We need to be fair to Sanchez. He needs more time. Sanchez has good distribution. If you ask me off the bat, I'd say he's better than Petrovic in terms of ball distribution. But maybe we still, as much as we say we need to give Sanchez time to see maybe he has good reflexes. We also need to give Petrovic time to see how good he is in terms of ball distribution. But let's see how you, Tebago, which of the goalkeepers do you think starts between the six for us?
At this moment, I feel like Robert Sanchez should be given a chance, and then let's see Petrovic during cup games, what he can offer us. Maybe he can catch an eye for the coach, then he can be the main man. So overall, now give Sanchez time, because as I said, if we can look at our games, we've been conceding a childish goal because of our defensive errors. Nothing got to do with the goalkeeper. Sometimes maybe
Exactly.
50 you can blame him, but again at the same time, if a striker can hit a shot with power, no goalkeeper can save that, unfortunately. So, man, I don't want to blame Sanchez a lot. How we concede these four goals, from my opinion.
Yep. I do agree with you. Again, Histon, it makes sense that the manager isn't just going to throw him, get him to start a playing as a goalkeeper. I think Petrovic will get his chance during cup games, but that doesn't mean that you can Histon. The fact that they trust him well enough to pay how much they pay for him, I think 16 million or so to sign him, which means they trust him well enough that if anything happens to Sanchez, he comes in. So if Sanchez falters, we'd probably end up seeing Petrovic earlier than we expect. But for me, I think he will eventually, from what I've seen, become the number one. But it's not my decision. We're just having a conversation here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along. We appreciate you all. We have how many? 49 likes. One more to get it to 50. Let's see if we can get it to 100 by the time the show ends. Let's see what else we have here. I'm not sure. We're not favorites on the pitch. More against a team. So we miss midfield, and Poch knows it. Yeah, he has to work with what he has now. And saying exactly, Jim, there are many other YouTube channels who feed on the negativity. Some of them don't even understand football and have just learned super what things to survive. Wow, I'm not sure I understand what means. Eugene says, look at PSG attack. Look at that attack. They are miles away from us. Accepted people need to accept. Here's the thing. You thinking we're not as good as PSG is your opinion. Do I think we have a good enough attack to do well? I'll say that. I'll say yes, but I'm not going to go to the extent of comparing our attack to PSG's attack. But that's just my opinion. And yeah,
Coach
so Richard, yeah.
Eugene, I've been watching PSG games from the first game until the fourth. I think this was the fourth game, if I'm not mistaken. First game, PSG were passing the ball without heading the opponent. Even the second game, they played third games. The second game, they played the first half, and then Mbappe came in the second half. He scored that game. They drew 1-1. So without Mbappe or Dembele, they were nothing. They were not offering anything. They were passing the ball but not penetrating. So I don't understand competing us with PSG. Simple as that.
Yeah, let's see what we have here. The three at the back is not helping the players, but I think the four at the back structure is good as we use it in preseason. I don't know you're paying attention. I think we use a variety. Again, we alternated between multiple structures. I'm just comparing attack quality. If we're going again on paper, you can say they have a better attack than us. But in my opinion, I think we have a good attack too. We just need time to gel. And I think to come and have we put away the chances we created, you'd probably say you probably say, okay, yeah, we're good. But that's not what we're here to talk. Coachila, you don't have to explain. If I really want to know the meaning, I have to get a dictionary to look at it. Modern is wanted or is a sufficient rendered unnecessary by superabundance, unnecessary, useless, excessive. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate you for the English class. Let's come the back three. Roger, let me start with you. The back three, assuming Badia Sheila is available for selection. Let's go for it. The back three for you.
So are we supposed to pick the left centre back as if he's going to be a left back?
No, we're just going what we think is the best with it. We're not trying to predict what the manager does. Okay. That's why we did 4-2-3-1 structure. We did 4-3-3 structure. We're just going, okay, what we think is the best of 11 in that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Jesse's killing me. So now we're just gonna try and select. You can say leave out any player we don't feel like should be there. But go ahead.
I'm a bit conflicted here. Then, if we're playing with the back three, because I'm not sure whether Silva should be playing, or do we use Badiashile and Colwell together? And then, well, we can't pick Fofana, obviously, because he's out for the year, for all intents and purposes. So, it's just a hard one because, listen, as much as I love Silva, for all intents and purposes, I can't see him playing in a full-time capacity more than this year. I really can't.
So let's try and do something in its absence. Who's capable of leading the back line? Because you could say in the back three structure, this number 2 here is the most important.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's hard. It's really hard to say. How shall I put this? I think I would have Badiashile, Colwell, and possibly Chalobah or Leslie. I'm not sure.
In a back three?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Who's centrally?
I think Colwell.
Colwell can lead centrally, but if you go ahead. You said Colwell centrally in the back.
Leslie.
Or well, no, I didn't say Leslie. I'm talking about as a right centre back. Obviously Wesley Fofana can't play this year.
Leslie as a right centre back.
I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
You said Leslie.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that.
You said Leslie.
Yeah, I said I didn't mean to. Wesley Fofana,
he didn't mean
obviously.
Okay, you win. He said Leslie, but he didn't mean to.
So I mean, let's put it this way: we can't choose Fofana because he's going to be out, according to reports, for the majority, if not the entire season. So, had he been healthy, I would put Fofana there. But it looks like we're probably going to have to pick either Chalobah or Disasi. So
for the so you can wait. Let's start again with you. You say centrally here. Who?
No. So okay. Listen. So you can switch either of them. Where for either the left side, you can either have Badiashile or Colwell. It's irrelevant. They're both left-footed. It depends who's got more of a comfort zone in the number 2 position. And then for the right, I would say probably what we have is going to be between Chalobah or Axel Disasi. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen enough of him, and obviously Chalobah is hurt half the time. So I'm a little bit. It all depends on who's available also. Because right now, let's be honest, who do we know who's bloody available? Because technically, Badiashile's not available. Technically, Fofana's not available. Technically, Chalobah's not available. So this is the conundrum that we have. We have 6 centre-backs, and 3 of them are not fit enough to play. If we had to play a game today, 3 of them can't play. And the 3 remaining, one of them's bloody 39 in 2 weeks' time. So you tell me. Do you see my dilemma? I mean,
Yeah, I do understand. Yeah.
Now, assuming they're all healthy, okay, with the exception of Fofana, because obviously that's unrealistic. I'm not sure whether Colwell or Badiashile would be better in the centre, but because of their future, that you have to start them because of the fact they need to play together.
Yes, then my logic, I would say Badiashile probably he's the more experienced of the two.
What in the centre?
Probably, sorry.
In the centre, you're talking about.
Essentially, I'll start Badiashile. Essentially,
yes.
I think it's more cool, calm, and collected than Colwell. I think he reads the game better than Colwell. They're both still very, very, very young, and Colwell can only get better. I'm not saying Colwell is a bad player, but I think
but he hasn't.
Go ahead.
He hasn't covered himself in glory in the games that he's played this year. He played better last year. Let's be honest. So, this could be for a myriad of reasons. Don't forget, he's playing technically a very wide left corner, left centre back. He's not playing like a left back, but he's playing very, very wide, which is not the norm for a centre back. So, I will give him that benefit of the doubt. Do you understand what I'm saying? But he has to improve. He has to be more physical because he's been, shall we say, close to lacking defensively.
Physicality is the only aspect of his game that's lacking now.
Yeah, but he can be physical. I've seen him being physical before. So I'm not sure.
Well, maybe it depends who he played against in that case.
Well, he's too... I think it's the fact that he's starting his career and maybe he's too conservative. He's too tentative, shall we say. Not conservative, too tentative. And it's only a few games, so it's hard to extrapolate that. But I would probably, based on what you said, because of Badiashile has more experience starts, I would probably put him in the number 2 and Colwell in the 3. And that's not a knock on either of them. And then for the right, as I said, I don't know whether Chalobah or Disasi, who's healthier, who's available more, who would be better. We haven't seen enough of either of them. But it has to be one of those two. I don't want to see Silva based on the fact that we need to go forward.
We need to learn to live without him.
Yes, because what happens, God forbid, if he pulls a hammy or, pulls a groin, then you're throwing the other players in the deep end. We have to start learning to live without him because he's a wonderful player. He's a world-class player. But he's going to be 39 this month. It's unrealistic to expect anything other than this.
Yeah, I think that's why we're doing without him, even though
if he's fully fit.
If he's fully fit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we would have Fofana as the right centre-back. But that's not possible, is it? So...
Yeah, his thing. Unfortunately, if Thiago Silva is fully fit, he gets to start. But we're just having fun here.
Sure. And I would listen. If I'm the manager, realistically, and all jokes aside, if I'm the manager, I would pick probably Silva to play in a back 3 if we were going to play a back 3. But because of I'm talking about long term, this is what we need to do. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Badiashile is better than Silva in the number 2 spot. I don't wish to allude to that. I'm just picking him based on the fact that we need to move on. That's the premise I'm using.
Yeah, okay. The right hand side, you have to choose. I think Chalobah, and we're hearing that he's going to be ready soon, according to that report we addressed. Let's see. Let's see what else do we have here. Again. The right centre back, I think I'll give it to Chalobah, honestly. I think he will be the most effective there.
You think so?
Yeah, honestly. Here's the thing. I think people underrate him. I think he's a fine defender. Yeah. I get it. He's made a few mistakes here and there. And that leads me back to my argument. He was one of our best defenders before World Cup.
Sure, but do you see him being here this time next year? I honestly don't.
I think he will. If the manager gives him a chance, he will prove himself. Just like Tuchel gave him a chance, he proved himself under Thomas Tuchel. His thing. We need to mix it up. I'm
not knocking him. I don't mean to do that. I'm just saying
I'm sure you're not.
I'm just saying that it's quite apparent what our strategy is from the back office. They want to to make pure net profit from the academy players. I think this is quite obvious, the strategy. So I don't see him being here because they're going to want to sell him. Now, of course, it needs Chalobah's okay to do so. He could say, no, I want to stay in and play for my place. But I just see him moving on based on the fact that I don't believe he'll be given the opportunity unless there's more injuries.
Yeah, here's my point. Badiashile and Kowe, they don't differ that much.
No, not really.
Yeah, and chances are, I don't know the possibility of the manager starting Disasi centrally. Disasi is good on the ball and can also lead. And the fact that he's played alongside Badiashile at Monaco together, that may well be a factor in the future, but we don't know. But at this point, I think we need to mix it up a bit. How? I don't know. Because these guys, they are like for like. It's just that one is more experienced than the other. And at this point, Badiashile is more experienced and reads the game better than Chilwell at this Cowell at this point. So it's an issue. So for me, I will go for Chalobah here. But you go ahead. What name are you mentioning here? I think we use the poll to complete that. And by the way, the poll that asks the question, who starts as goalkeeper? Initially Sanchez was leading, but now 22 votes. That's a few more votes later. Petrovic is leading, but you go ahead, Roger. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, listen. If I'm the manager right now, and I want to pick for the future, I want to, I would, my from left to right would be Colwell, Badiashile, and Chalobah in all likelihood. And I say Chalobah because I haven't seen enough of Disasi. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
Lack of trust.
Yeah, but based on the fact that we've only seen a few minutes of him. But and I've seen a lot of Chalobah. But my question is, though, realistically, I don't see him being here this time next year.
Possibly. But everything comes down to how much he gets to play.
Yeah, no, exactly. Listen, I like him. I'm not knocking it. I like him. I just believe, based on what I believe are approaches to the game upstairs from the back office, from the executives and from the owners. That's all. And that's the only reason.
Yeah. Let's hear your back three, given what we have here. Chances are, if Mauricio Pochettino, if he's the one picking this lineup, he still pick the Sassi.
Who would you choose? If you're the manager, coach, who would you pick?
If I were the manager?
Yeah.
I would go again if without in the absence of Thiago Silva. But if we're saying, let's say we'll have a game tomorrow, and I have to go with the back three, and I will go with Thiago Silva centrally, Badiashile on the left, on the right hand side. If what's his name, Fofana is available, he's not. I'll go with Chalobah on the right rather than the Sassi. The Sassi, I trust him, but I don't think that position is where he gets to play for us. I think he's still a bit confused there.
Okay,
honestly. But go ahead. Maybe still in his preseason. I would go with Thiago Silva centrally, Badiashile on the left hand side, on the right hand side, Chalobah or Fofana if they are available. That's a perfect balance there. Because I see this right now, these two guys are too like for like, and no experience there really. And which brings me to mind, if it wasn't for lack of trust at this point, I'd start the Sassi centrally, and then flanked by either one of Colwell or Badiashile on the left, and then on the right hand side, flanked by either one of Fofana or Chalobah. Then you have a perfect balance. Yeah. So, but let's see. I think may have to use the poll to complete this. That's what I think. But Tebago, let's have your back three. What makes a perfect sense for you? What do you think? But before you do that, quickly, I'll come back to you. A big up coach says Glenn 10. Panel in chat. YouTube is not the only culprit. Twitter, you can say Twitter is actually worse. Twitter is worse because YouTube channels sometimes they take a break, but Twitter is on 247. There's always some measure of toxic stuff going on there. Let's see. Let me just give them a microphone. I'll come back to you in a bit. You didn't like that tapping. Do you think too much people doing it for the bag rather than the love of the club? I think I agree with you. PSG is also a little short in midfield. But we are too short in the midfield. We're like, I still say we lack creativity in the midfield area. Coach, do you think Poch trusts him? I think he trusts him. He just wanted probably to do it gradually. and he said it openly. He needs time, which means all he needs is just, again, I think at one time we start seeing Mudryk constantly, or game in, game out. And morning to you too, Chelsea Blue. I appreciate you joining. Colwell will not play more than Badiashile after he returns. We'll play. Will not play more. But we'll see. It's up to the manager. Maybe he trusts Colwell more. But in my opinion, I'd start. I'd start. What's his name? I'd start Badiashile over Colwell right now. Hello, Coach. The vibe. Always nice to see you. Richarlison cried being a sub for Brazil yesterday. Spurs ruined him. That you think of Chelsea getting him so he cooks on the porch? No, I didn't want him. When the rumors emerged that we were considering signing him, I said he's a player I don't like that much. I get it, he fights, but beyond that, I think I have a lot of questions with regards to his ability. In my opinion, honestly, I'm not into him that much. Like that camera angle. Thank you so much. Glad you like it. I appreciate you saying that. The vibe. Yep, I like the camera, Coach. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you're doing well. More importantly, okay, you're winning. Okay. You have a Kudus in your team. Congratulations to you. Let's see. Glenn here says that I was frustrated with the Sassi for the mistakes he makes. But on the other hand, he's still in his first year. Not even first year. He's preseason. Remember, he's a player I know too well. Honestly, I know him very well to know he's usually come on the ball, usually don't make that much mistake. And you can say the approach probably new to him. Maybe the manager's approach new to him. I think he will come good. Plus, he's done well on occasions also, and he can break the line with excellent passes on the carpet, even from the defensive area. I think he will come good. But where he belongs to this team right now, I can't quite tell.
Who are you talking about, Coach?
Sorry?
You talking about Disasi?
Yeah. Where he really belongs in this team right now, I can't quite can't tell. But the more importantly, I have to let you know this: he's a fine player. But where he belongs, I don't know. I think, let me just put it this way: the Thiago Silva's leadership mantle is up for grabs. It could be him, it could be Colwell, it could be Badiashile. It may end up in the future becoming Fofana, or even Trevor Chalobah. We don't know, but we'll find out. I think the back line, I don't think we have stability there right now, especially when we go with the back three. It's everywhere. I totally understand that. You have to say the link you're sharing. I'm tired of talking already. If it's about your YouTube channel, tell people why they should go subscribe. But I think that's the case. Go subscribe to the channel. Let's help him grow. What about Chilwell, left centre back? I would rather a player I've seen play there before, in Marco Correa, and he played well there actually than any other place he's played for us since he joined. Left centre back, Colwell, centre back, Badiashile, right centre back. You never know. Let's see what the manager does. But Toby, it's nice to see you, Coach. My brother, I have seen someone ask 160 quid for a shout out on Twitter. Lad has no idea what he's talking about.
What?
It disgusts me. I think you have to see that on your screen. Just on the screen, somebody is asking 160 quid for a shout out on Twitter. I don't know. A lot of people, once they gain 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, they feel like they're gods now. And you can say the disheartening thing is that they preach negativity, and a lot of people suck up to it. Unfortunately, 3 centre backs. But we will let you know why we're allowing that. But that's by the way. Let's see what happens here. Chelsea is done out there. 3 at the back. To me, that's not our biggest problem. If you understand. To be honest, Tebago, Tebago just shared. Tebago also does the same thing that Jampod Entertainment did. What is your channel is for? Do you cook food or do you share income party?
I cook Chelsea fans.
No,
Tebago is a content creator, and I love it so much. He loves Chelsea. So let me mute him. That's the link to his channel. Please go check it out. Let's.
It's an excellent channel. Seriously,
it's an excellent channel. More importantly, he's not one of those you can say content creators that you can say that that you can say negativity defines their channel. Always,
Exactly.
you can say he keeps his objective, and I think you should go check it out. Let's
It's
help him get to
analytical.
1,000 subscribers gang soon. I think he can, but I know he's been very busy and doesn't stream that much. But I think he will get there, and I will try the best I can to help him as a brother. Go ahead, Roger. Were you saying something?
Yeah, it's a very analytical channel.
Yeah,
It's objective.
yeah. Can't be factual. Jokes aside, that he didn't tell us what his channel for, but go check it out and be sure to subscribe. And we have Let Him Cook. Yep, Let Him Cook. I think I agree with you. Infinite Athlete. Yep, loading. Did we miss that? Yeah, I think we talked about that. It's gonna load, but it looks like it's gonna be just for one season, and then the following season will be Riyadh Air, a Saudi Arabian airline company. For lack of a better way. You guys don't learn. You think this back three at the back is the answer. Nobody told you it's the answer. We're just playing here. We've done 4-2-3-1. We've done 4-3-3, and we're doing this one too because that's a chance. The manager plays that, so we're practicing. Okay, if we're gonna go with the back three, what do we do? What players do we start? And relax. I think you will understand what we're doing soon. Yeah. Let's see. Tebago shares the link again. Go ahead, Tebago.
New video, cooking Chelsea fans.
Oh, you did one? I didn't know.
Yeah, I've done it before. Before I just came to your stream just to cook Chelsea fans. I'm tired, but just 2 minutes of my thoughts about what is happening from first game until the last game that we lost against Forest, right? Yes.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
But again, guys, my back three, to be honest, if let's say we have everyone available, no one is not injured, to be honest, I just want Thiago Silva to play those important games, like say for example against Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, because I trust him very much. But in terms of development, I would rather have Buddy Shile at the center back, because he can read the game very well. And then also I can play Levi Colwell as a left center back, whereby he can splash those passes, man. What a passer. And then on the right hand side, I'll rotate Disasi and Trevor Chalaba. Oh, sorry, Disasi and Wesley Fofana. And then Trevor Chalaba, I don't see his future at Chelsea anymore, because he was linked to Bayern Munich, and then he couldn't get that move. So clearly can see that his days are numbered at Chelsea, unless a miracle happens. We all believe in miracles, right?
Sometimes. All right, here's the thing. Good one there. I think we're gonna use the poll so that people in the chat will have a say. They have again more population than us on the panel. But Roger, let's answer this question on the screen from Contender FC. An excellent question. I like such questions. It makes us think objectively, or you could say more think intellectually. It makes sense. He says, is our issue not scoring goals, or is it conceding? We haven't actually conceded much, except in one game where we
haven't scored much either.
Yeah, we haven't scored much either.
I believe it's both. I believe that the correct answer is both, because the concessions that we're making are due down to errors for the most part, individual mental errors and some technical errors.
When you say that comes down to lack of proper chemistry, the fact that we have an entirely new
experience,
team. Yeah,
exactly. New goalkeeper, a new back line, with the exception. Listen, do you realize out of the 27 players or 28 players? Because I don't include the the two young development squad goalkeepers in the squad. You only have 4 players that have been here longer than 3 transfer windows. 4. So 4 out of 27 players have been here longer than 3 transfer windows. That's ridiculous. So you're looking at
you can't go with either of the two. You think it's both?
Yeah, I believe, due to the fact there's a new coaching staff, a new squad, not a new team, a new squad for all intents and purposes. From this calendar year alone, I think you have to say that our problem is, yes, we're not scoring enough, but we're also conceding goals that we shouldn't be, and that's down to errors. We're not playing a Bayern or Man City. Yeah, we did play an amazing Liverpool team, but look how we played them. You know, as we have done for the last 7 games across 3 different full-time coaches, where we're because they don't park the bus, they come at us, which allows us to play at our best. So therefore, I believe that, yes, a lot of people will probably say that we should be scoring more. I totally agree, no argument. But I also believe that we've lost games because of the fact that we've made errors conceding. So I believe the honest answer is both, not one. It sounds like I'm chickening out, but it's the honest truth. Both can be blamed on why we're not winning.
I agree, Roger.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because for example, let's say against West Ham United, I think that game we played very well, but due to our mistakes, we lost that game. Also, that miss of Enzo Fernandez penalty miss, that was crucial to that game for us. But unfortunately,
that was the turning point.
yes, that was the turning point. But unfortunately, he missed it, and then we paid the price. That's football. So that's why, like, I don't want to blame the players and the coach, because at the end of the day, this is a new team, and then it takes time to build a team, and then our fans just want instant results. And then in football, it doesn't work like that. If, for example, let's say this, Makila had the first season, or club's first season, what happened there? They were struggling, but now they got their time to build their team. Now they're flourishing. So at the end of the day, I think this team needs time, especially after what we have seen during these 4 games.
Totally agree.
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know, we're getting the feedback from your end, so maybe you should try sort it out, Tebago, before we fire you from the team. Go ahead, Richard. You were saying something.
Yeah, listen, it's... Yeah, if I had to pick one where you can't say no, or both of them, okay, I would probably listen, which is counterintuitive because I would always try to keep a clean sheet. But I would say the obvious lack of our being clinical, our inability to score, is the obvious woolly mammoth in the room, right? It is. It's so obvious. It's the fact that we've created so many opportunities, which is half the battle won. But the fact that we've missed the most amount of clear-cut chances in the Premier League through 4 games, that's testament to our inability to score. And I say that in a negative response. It sounds like it's a positive attribute. It's not. It's a damning indictment with our ability to score.
Yep. Let's give those in the chat the microphone, then we'll come back again. Petrovic with a vote around 22 votes plus. Yep. Thank you for that. Excellent questions. We want to see more of such questions are coming. It makes us enjoy the show even more. But I appreciate that. And we'll see my brother Eric Blue. How you doing, bro? Always nice to see you. Salam alaikum. God bless you, brother. Always nice to see you. Good afternoon, my brother. And big up to the panel. Always nice to see you. I know bills don't pay themselves. You're always busy. If it is both, then the setup needs to be 4-5-1. If we go with 4-5-1, in my opinion, then probably we'll be more defensive and won't have enough to be effective in the attacking area. In my opinion, that is just what I think. But let's see what else we have here. We have Eric also saying, let me do some mathematics for Eric here, given what he just said. Eric says, I can hop on the stream if you still be here in the next 2 hours. Thank you, Eric. We're not planning to sleep here. We're planning to take a break and do something else. But much love to you, brother. I totally understand. You're probably at work. So this back four, I think we're going to use the poll to complete it, a back three, so to speak. Let me just put up the poll quickly. But before I put up the poll, Roger, let me explain the argument I make before. And I think I'm going to make Chelsea's best 11 a 3-4-3 version or 3-4-2-1. I think most likely it's going to be 3-4-2-1, but it can be fluid up here. So not certain it's going to be a static as in 2-1 or 1-2. But maybe if he wants to play with a 10, then we have a 1-2. But let's see here. For me, we've argued if we're going to play with 2-6-6, it doesn't matter whether they're both Connie Chukwuemeka and Moises Caicedo. It doesn't matter. Even if one of them is Moises Caicedo or not Connie Chukwuemeka, again, Ugochukwu was the name I wanted to say. Either of the two, if either of the two starts, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive-minded players. Plus, Enzo can be defensive. It's just that he doesn't have the pace.
But the attributes,
the attributes, but he's more effectively. I don't trust his ability to read the game in terms of from the defensive aspect. Reading the game offensive-wise is excellent.
That's not why we bought him.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as he sees it, he can find great passes and again make us. You can say, okay, so something nice with the ball. So my argument before was that even if we have, as long as we play 2-6s, it doesn't matter whether it is just Caicedo alone or Connie or let's look at Chukwu alone paired
or Lavia
or Lavia. Yeah, any of them paired with Enzo Fernandez in that position. We don't need to play traditional defenders here. We need to play with traditional wingers here, and we have wingers. Maybe we should start practicing on how to get them to be effective in fulfilling that role. Honestly, in my opinion. I think we've seen managers do that before. We've seen Thomas Tuchel do that, even played Loftus-Cheek. You could say Loftus-Cheek's best games under Thomas Tuchel was playing in a wing-back, what we perceive as a wing-back role, but the application showed he operated more as a midfielder. He helped overload the midfielder area and the attacking area, and he was effective in fulfilling that role. So my argument is if we're going to play with 2-6s, it doesn't matter who starts. We shouldn't play with traditional defenders here. It doesn't help. What do you say, Roger? So given that in mind, pick your 7 and 8 player.
It's not going to happen. Listen, if I'm playing with a back three, if this is truly a 3-4-3, or however you want to term it in parentheses, I'm going to play Chilwell as my left wing, Reece as my right wing, and then obviously because of their ceiling and because of their purchase price, it's going to be Caicedo and Enzo. There's no debate really. There's nothing to talk about. That's the 2-6s,
right?
Yeah,
so if we're playing Caicedo, which means we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive-minded players, I wouldn't mind Reece James playing here. I wouldn't mind Reece James doing here. Yes. Reece James carries goal threat. Reece James can put in good crosses in the box, and Reece James can beat his man on the day. It depends on what mood he's on, maybe. But here, I'm saying we can say it depends on how manager wants us to apply the structure, really.
Well, if we're playing a City, for instance, or we're playing, an Arsenal, this is I have no objection to playing Conte's 3-4-3, if that makes sense, where we would play a Chilwell on the left, a Reece on the right. We would have 3 centre backs, in our defensive line. But this isn't his true MO, though, Poch's MO. But if we're going to choose...
we don't want his MO in this case. We're just doing what we think.
Yeah, right. So this is what I would choose. I'm too old-fashioned, maybe. So I would go with a 3-4-3, like if we're playing a Liverpool, which is what we did, really, for the most part. I would play Chilwell and Reece on the outsides,
I wouldn't mind Reece, I wouldn't mind. But on the left side, we have an issue. Yeah, go ahead.
No, not really. Because it depends who we're playing. Like if we're playing at a City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal, we would probably, in all intents and purposes, need to play Chilwell there because of their wing backs. Also, don't forget, you have Trent Alexander, or you have on the other side, you have Robertson. That's why it's a beautiful game of chess whenever Liverpool and Chelsea play. It's if you're a neutral, every game has been a heavyweight knockout bout. It's a wonderful game. So they bring out the best in each other, based on the formation and the players and the coaches. They play at a very high level. The quality is exceptional. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Should we have more, for instance, hypothetically, a Modric there as opposed to Colwell? I get your logic and have no argument for it. I'm just saying I'm more, shall we say, pragmatic because I like the clean sheet. Just being honest with you. It's
I totally understand. I totally understand what you mean, but this is us just having fun. I think we may end up using the poll to complete certain positions.
Oh, I'm sure.
For me, let me explain. If I were the manager, here's what I'd do. The back three I've explained. As long as Thiago Silva is fit, and as long as we're playing with 2 6s, it doesn't matter who's pairing Enzo. As long as one of them is traditionally a defensive midfielder, I wouldn't mind starting Thiago Silva centrally in the back three, because I'll just find a way to coach these guys, to drill into them how to protect this guy's deficiencies, or you can say his shortcomings given his age. I don't think deficiency is the correct language. Shortcomings maybe given his age. Then I would go with a fit Chalobah on the right hand side and Badiashile on the left. But since we have, again, 1, 2, 3 defenders, you can say center backs playing at the back three, plus one defensively, again, one defensive midfielder here, that's 4 defenders. I will not go with any defensive minded players here. As long as I will only drill these 2 guys to be cautious of the movement of this guy so that always drift here to cover spaces. That is just me if I were the coach, but I'm not the coach. So I wouldn't go with three center backs plus 1 defensive midfielder. And you could argue if it is Lavia and Caicedo, then we have 2 defensive midfielders, and we have 5 defensive-minded players, which will lead to lack of enough creativity in terms of creating chances and all that. Yeah, I wouldn't go with defensive-minded players on the right-hand side, honestly. But that's just my opinion. But Roger, pick your your left wing player here. Let's hear you.
For the front three.
No, for the midfield, you can say midfield 4, or you could just call it.
Yeah, I've said so. Left to right is going to be Chilwell.
Chilwell on the left.
Yeah, Enzo.
Okay.
No, actually, it will be Caicedo, then Enzo on the right, and then.
Let me ask you this: if the manager's plan is for, again, to execute what we've witnessed when he goes with the back three, where Chilwell operates as a left wing, would you still start Chilwell here?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Because I've given reasons why.
Just to be cautious.
Yeah. Especially if we're playing a City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal, it would be prudent for us to do so.
Now, you could argue this again. I think you and I have talked about that.
And especially if it's at their ground, if it's at Anfield, for instance, your goal, your aim is to come away with a draw. Let's be honest. When you're playing the top 3 or 4 teams away from home, you definitely, you don't want to lose the game. The goal is to come away with at least a draw. So it behooves us to be pragmatic. But it depends on the opponent. If we're playing Scunthorpe United, then no, you're not going to do that, are you? You're not going to need to. So, but on the whole, I would say that I would have Chilwell, Caicedo, Enzo, and James. That would be from my left to right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chilwell, Caicedo, Enzo, and James. That's not a bad one.
But honestly, with the players, the squad we have, I wouldn't be picking this formation. But we're just doing it for fun anyway.
Yeah, we're just doing it for fun. Yeah. We've done 4-2-3-1. We've done 4-3-3, where we accommodated Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia, which makes sense. But in this case, I don't think both comes in. I think one of them has to drop. Either Lavia or Caicedo has to drop, but Enzo has to be on the pitch. And we haven't actually answered the question: when Enzo isn't playing, who becomes the orchestrator in the team?
There is none. Let's be honest here. God forbid if he has to be rested for whatever reason, you're going to see a huge drop off.
Or maybe the manager changes his approach.
Has to
do without him,
because I can't think of anyone that can take his role. Can you?
No one else. The only closest we had in the team was not really the same, actually. Santos wasn't even close. Even Caicedo, maybe Caicedo to a certain extent, because Caicedo operates like a register, and you could say Enzo is partly a register too.
I see what you're saying. I was thinking more of Santos, to be honest with you, but I don't know. We're lacking depth there. That's a concern because this team is built around Enzo, and this is one player we cannot afford to lose.
So if he goes out, which means the manager has to deploy another approach, because you can't try to play the same way if it's not playing.
What do? You put a Maatsen there, maybe? I don't know.
No,
I have no idea.
I think the only thing will happen in his absence. I think we can have the only person that's close, has the ability to even fulfill such role would be Lavia. He has a good passing range in him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and actually, you can say if you can actually drill him to start being the Enzo alternative. He actually will do more than Enzo because he's defensively solid.
That's a good shout, coach. That's a strong possibility. I never thought about Lavia replacing him as such. Because think about it, since we've purchased him in January, the last January window, he has started, if I'm not mistaken, every single Premier League game. Or is there one he was rested? I can't recall. I know he didn't play the Wimbledon game, or start, I mean. So I think that's the only game, if I'm not mistaken. And it's to the point where I'm a bit worried about us making the same mistake that we did with N'Golo.
Overplaying him.
Yeah, but the only good thing about this chap is N'Golo's game was predicated on running up and down, while this guy, it's not.
He doesn't run that much.
No, exactly. That's the only good attribute that could negate my concern, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you can say because of the way he applies himself, it probably not going to be injured, get injured as many times as N'Golo does. But he gets involved quite a lot,
unless there's an impact injury, because they go in hard on him, maybe. But other than that, no. He probably is. His longevity is pretty much, I shouldn't say secure, but because no one's is. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do agree with you. So you don't want to sleep on the stream until I can join. Look at Eric, Roger. You see that on the screen?
Yeah.
No, we don't want to sleep here, Eric. Much love to you, brother. Badia Shile at left center back, Levi Cowell, and Badia Shile battle for left center back.
You have?
I think that's a good shout.
Who would you have on the left side then, coach, if it wasn't Cowell? Chilwell,
I've explained if I were the manager, I'd start Thiago Silva centrally and start Badia Shile on the left hand side.
No. I'm talking about the left
wing back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would play Mudryk here, or even any other player that's traditionally a winger, and I've explained why. Explained why. We have 3 centre backs. We have 2.
No,
sixes.
I get it.
Whether 2 of them are traditionally 6s, it doesn't matter to me. I think that would be enough to protect the back line while these guys do more offensively. That's why I say we've seen Thomas Tuchel do it, and it worked effectively. It was effective against Real Madrid. That if he was a bit pragmatic at the Bernabeu, maybe we would have again beaten them.
Yeah.
So he knows again. Everything comes down, and it makes sense that you have 3 defenders here. But I think in that if you have anybody here, any two of the 2 6s, if they're able to read the game well to cover when these guys leave spaces in behind, then you have good protection for these guys here, and that's especially true against offensive teams like Real Madrid, like you say Liverpool. You can exploit the spaces they leave in behind by using more offensive-minded players rather than playing with 2 6s, playing with 3 center backs, and then again 2 traditional defenders as wing backs. Then you have, to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive.
But then again, the only disadvantage, coach, is the fact that if you do have Chilwell there, he can play out wide and get to the byline and cross it in.
Yeah, and I can assure you.
But if you play Mudryk there, he's not as good with his left foot crossing as Chilwell would be. That's the only doubt I have.
Chilwell actually doesn't cross down many times. I'd rather Mudryk come in with that threat of goal and then running in behind and then being effective and beating his man than Chilwell only hoping again. I'm not saying, I'm going to say this again, disclaimer. We're not saying Chilwell is a bad player.
But he's one-dimensional in the aspect that he's going to have to cut in on his right. He's not going to be able to cross with his left like a Chilwell can.
Yeah.
Chilwell does cross the ball. Do you see what my concern is?
Yeah, he does. So that's another added advantage. But I would rather go with even I wouldn't mind just like I think it was who did that. Was it was this Thomas Tuchel did that even playing? Yes, thing. The application is what I'm paying attention to. I wouldn't even mind starting Raheem Sterling here for him, allowing him as long as these guys understand their roles and not cause the role here to be redundant. You get my plan.
But playing Chilwell there, it gives you width and it gives you a natural crossing ability with the left foot.
Again, it depends on the intent.
You're right, but exactly. But if you put Mudryk there, he's forced to go onto his right foot, so you don't have that natural left-footed cross. That's my whole point.
Because he's played on the left again in the left wing position. I wouldn't mind playing him there. No, but find a way to accommodate it, or maybe
it's different playing as a left winger as opposed to a left back, because we're talking width here, where the left back or left wing back, however you want to term it, is wider than where Mudryk is normally playing. Plus, you're playing Mudryk out of position, which is a cardinal sin, which is what we've been preaching all year long. That's what I have an issue with, because you're making him one-dimensional then, because he's going to have to cut it inside on his right foot, and teams.
I would say he's gotten used to it. He's done that. He's done that all his life.
This is what we saw several years, where you play someone that's right-footed there, and they have to cut in on their right foot, and so it negates the natural cross. That's my whole point. That's the only issue.
But beyond that, Roger, I think do you understand what I explained? Why I wouldn't mind playing a traditional winger here rather than
I would rather have Palmer as a winger there, because
it would work.
Yeah, because he could cross the ball with his left foot. He's an excellent crosser of the ball. I'm not. It's not about Chilwell. It's about having a left-footed player on that side. That's my whole point. Like a Palmer, fine, have no problem, because he can cross the ball with his left and he can cross the ball with his right. He's not one-dimensional. But Mudryk, his quality on his left foot is lacking for crosses. That's my whole point, sir.
Yeah, I think you make a good argument. Let's say everything comes out. If we're going to play this structure and keep it traditional, then Ben Chilwell will be good there. He can also, if he get space and behind, he can score you goals. But if you're
or you put a Palmer there, I have no problem with the left.
Yeah, even Palmer. Yeah, but if we're going to play and the application shows that he operates as a winger, then no for me. And I'm going to say that
even Madueke, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about it's about the space.
Yeah, well, to me, it's more about the left foot with the crossing, if that makes sense. I wouldn't mind a Palmer or a Madueke. I wouldn't mind a Palmer or Madueke there and play maybe Mudryk on the right side, or play him as the left wing. Do you see my logic here?
Yeah, and Mudryk has actually worked on the right hand side too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's see. We got Cowell, Silva, Disasi, Fofana, Badiashile, Chalobah, Humphreys. Humphreys has gone on loan. He's gone out on loan, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's gone out on loan. That's a lot of centre backs for a supposed back four line. Humphreys has gone out on loan, and here I would also go for Chalobah. Yep, Chalobah would be my choice.
Right?
He brings Chalobah will bring right centre back. Chalobah will bring proper balance to this team. Because these two, in the absence of, if we start these two in the absence of Thiago Silva, these two will be you can say they're like for like. Two again. They don't differ that much, in my opinion, except one being more experienced. Hi, Coach. Is Thiago Silva in? Sorry?
Didn't he go to Swansea, Humphreys?
I think it's Swansea. Yeah, you're correct. Humphreys is on loan at Swansea. Yep. Hi, Coach. Is Thiago Silva injured? And I'm happy that he's gone out on loan, because I don't see him playing that much to continue developing. I think that was a good decision. I get it. He's good, excellent at the ball, and reads the game so well. But keeping him will not be helpful. It would just be utter selfishness. You could say that won't go anywhere for us. Is Thiago Silva injured? Don't see his name in the polls. How come best of it? And maybe because you were busy watching basketball, you're not paying attention to the conversation. We're saying we're learning to live without him, and we still made it clear. Rewind it, go watch it, that he's still our best player. We didn't just say our best defender. We used to tell him our best player overall. But we're just learning to do without him right now. And this is not us predicting what his name will do. And I did argue when Roger asked me what would you do, and I said if I were the manager, I'd still start Thiago Silva centrally, but then Sheila to the left, and then to the right, Chaloba, for a reason I explained. I trust the Sassi, but still, for me right now, I'm not too sure where he belongs in this team, given the options we have. But he has a place. If you will listen. Let's see. He says Mudryk crosses with his left foot off from Roger, but Mudryk doesn't stretch defense, contrary to Chilwell, and Mudryk is less experienced. I would just go with the experience aspect, and everything comes down. Everything comes down to how the manager wants to approach the game, whether he wants to be you can say more offensive or be more cautious, or whether the team defends deep or maybe attacks. Lewis Hall was our best crosser. He was. I think I agree with you. Last season, he finds players. He crosses with papers. He's not one of those that just puts the ball into the box. He crosses with papers. Still sad we didn't keep him. He wanted to leave. That's what it comes down to. Wow, over 2 million people watching that charity game side, man. It's an important game. Honestly, it's an important game. Is it on TV? If it's on TV, I'm gonna go see it too. It would be an excellent game. Let's see. Okay, good luck. Benjamin Button will disappoint you. We're not saying he's not gonna start. That's not what we're saying. If that makes sense. And okay, good luck. Benjamin Button will disappoint you. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay, we better round up so we can go watch it too. So, Roger, let's go with the 2 6s you said, Casado, and I agree with you. Until we see how much the manager trusts Leslie Ugochukwu, then we can always predict what games he start or what games he wouldn't start.
He's an interesting option. Yeah. Ugochukwu. I mean, I haven't seen enough of him, but this chap actually fascinates me.
Yeah, and I tried to find that cup game he played to rewatch it. The night I tried to watch it, I dozed off. And the following days I tried to find it, I couldn't find it because they made it available on the 5th stand that day. So let's see, Roger, the 2 8s. Let's go for it so we can round off.
Oof.
And 50%, 10 votes, 50% wants the Sassi, 30%. Okay, the Sassi is stopping. Wow. For the right center back position, honestly, for me, I would go with Chalobah or Fofana over the Sassi for that position, especially in the Premier League. But that's not me. But go ahead, Roger. The 2 8s.
Madueke on the right.
Okay.
And well, we can't pick up Nkunku, obviously.
We can.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter where. Yeah.
Then Nkunku on the left or Palmer.
Who?
Palmer or Nkunku? Probably Nkunku.
Nkunku starts over him.
Yeah, because I believe his link-up play with Jackson as the number 9, it will be far more formidable.
And let's be honest, we're not even too sure what Pochettino is going to be doing with Palmer right now. We need to see more.
Yeah, I have no idea. But I'm just saying, though, his ability to play that on the left side, I've seen him, for City. He's a wonderful crosser of the ball. He really is on the left. But he cuts in on the right very well, and he's scored some lovely goals. But however, I would pick Nkunku above him. And I'm a huge fan of Noni Madueke, an absolutely huge fan of his. I believe he should start over Sterling, and I believe Nkunku should start over Sterling. Just being honest, for obvious reasons. They both add continuity and far more consistency.
Yeah, Constantine Dante, what haven't you heard? What did you hear? You're talking about the Are you talking about the Legends game? Palmer can play that 10 role if we go back to in this structure actually. If we go back to formation, this structure actually you can actually play with a 10 if we switch it up like this. Am I correct, Roger?
Correct.
You can. Sometimes it can be like that, but it depends. We don't know Pochettino that well in terms of again. We
I don't think that would happen.
With. Yeah. To see what he does here. So we still have Jackson here.
I mean, it's true. You could swap. You could actually have Nkunku as a false 9 and Jackson on the left side. It could be very fluid. But on paper, I don't believe that would be the case for the most part.
We have to see that happen before we can believe. We haven't seen it happen, unfortunately. We're not too sure what's going to happen. So yeah, I don't know. Roger, anything else you want to talk about so we can call it in? Maybe get a chance to watch that game. So people here are picking they're picking the Sassy, which isn't a bad idea. But
I have to see more of him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I'd rather Chalobah on that right hand side in my opinion.
Yeah, ditto. Based on what I know, but
exactly. But I know the Sassy well enough to so he can fulfill that role. But I think Chalobah will be more effective there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but honestly, my only thing is, honestly, I'd be very surprised if he's here this time next year.
If we see him this time next year?
Chalobah. Sadly, because I don't want him to go at all, but I think because of financial reasons, they will take priority over.
I'm going to tell you how I see it. It didn't look as if we wanted to let him go.
Yeah, we were asking a lot, weren't we?
Yeah, it didn't look. Yeah, it didn't look like we were serious selling him. We didn't want to sell him. Honestly, if we were serious about selling him, I think we could have taken. There are good. I think there were good offers. I don't think we want to sell him. It's just people. You could say making up stuff, given the fact that we heard that Bayern were interested in taking him on loan, and then the part of it is some part of the reports say that Chelsea are willing to let him go, but it has to be
based on the fact that Fofana has, with all due respect, has injury issues. Let's be polite here, and you're looking at a nearly 39-year-old centre back. Also, I believe we need him because we're one injury away from being in deep trouble.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Yeah.
If we do lose, God forbid, if we do lose Silva for X amount of weeks, then this leaves us very weak. Well, very thin, I mean. Disasi is new to the team, new to the coaching staff, etc. So we need a smidgen of, continuity, and Chalobah brings us that.
Yeah, he brings that back. He's a good defender. You can say, for me, from what I've seen, maybe Badiashile reads the game better than him, but I think he brings aggression to that back line, and we need that balance. You can say the only person that brings aggression right now is the Sassi, but still a bit shaky at Chelsea. But at Monaco, he was excellent.
Early, though.
To me, we need balance. Honestly, I don't know if it is something that you can say that's grown on me during the days of Thomas Tuchel, where we had that perfect balance. So
we did, didn't we?
I don't know, Roger. Anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll say hello to those people in the chat and call it a day. Hopefully, we'll find something else to talk about tomorrow. I think that will always be news.
Yeah, sadly, and it's usually injury news, isn't it? Too soon.
I don't pray for that. And here's something that JC said on the screen there. We didn't want to loan him. Yep. I think I talked about that too. Only sell for important money. That shows you we value him. We wanted him to stay. We know his quality. So if we're going to sell him, we have to make a lot of money from his sell. That's exactly how I see it. Yeah, go ahead, Roger, if you want to have anything else to talk about.
That's fine. Yeah. I think we've covered our bases.
Yeah, and thank you so much for finding time to join today. Also, I have your information in the description section.
Funny man.
But I don't know just quickly. Were you able to? Did you hear from Bobby? I've sent him a message.
No, I haven't actually.
I haven't gotten a response yet.
Yeah, Bobby, if you're listening, I hope you're well, sir.
And yeah, I hope he's well. He hasn't responded. And JC picked out something very important. He's usually very active on Twitter, and he hasn't. For 3 days now, he's been silent. Yeah, I hope he's okay. And Lemfield says experience overuse of Stalin over Nani. We may well see that. I think it's especially Starling keeps showing again good form. I think probably he starts
but on an inconsistent basis though. That's my only concern.
But if it's usually it shows that he's not ineffective against a low block, then maybe Madueke starts over him. As he proved the last time when he came in, we became even better. But I want to say thank you to Roger for finding the time to join, Tebago, who was there on the panel, and Constantine Dante. Much love to you, Lemfield. Francis Dave, much love to you, brother. And JC, much love to you. Enjoy your basketball. Who else we had in the house here? Not too many people today. Contender FC, nice to see you. Rick Blue, one of us who wants us to stream for 5 hours before he joins. Sosa D, nice to see you. Jazzy B, all of you, much love to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. Glenn 10 and the Vibe, much love to you all. And if I missed your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Au revoir. I don't even know what that means, but anyway, I trust Roja.